How's it going, everybody? I'm Least, coming at you with Stromkarlen and Cold Warp Gates as per usual. We are coming at you with another Apocalypse show match. This is our 13th. We've got VT's George versus Dragoon. George is repping Operation Indecision, and Dragoon is repping Samyang Fire. And this is kind of a special match for us. We've got both returners, so we're really excited about that. Both these players have played before.
All right. If this is your first time tuning in, guys, this is a show match series put on from CPL. It is inspired by the Korean End of the World series, if you guys know those best of nines, in honor of the Apocalypse. So here we do a best of 9. All games get played, and the map pool is fixed. So I set the order, and it is all 8 CPL maps plus Escalade. We also live cast and observe these matches, so this is happening right here, right now. Me and Least are casting, and Warp Gates is our observer and producer today. And this kind of series that we've been doing this CPL season gives our tier 1 and tier 0 players a really good chance to do longer series prep, because CPL regular league is only best of 3s. So this gives them a chance to really prep all 8 of the CPL maps in for a whole series and for one matchup. So it's been good, I think, overall for the players.
And if you just stumbled across the stream, you're wondering, what is CPL? I just play StarCraft. I don't know what the foreign community is like. CPL is a learning league. We are currently just about finished with a season. I'm going to go ahead and link to the Discord, though. Make sure you join that Discord if you haven't already. Keep up on everything that's going on. Playoffs are coming soon, which means we are almost to next season, which is a great opportunity. If you didn't make it in this time, be sure to catch the rest of the content for this season and then participate in some between season events to prepare for season 6.
All right, guys. And if you enjoy this cast today, or you have enjoyed previous casts on this channel, be sure to check out CPL's Google Calendar. So I keep that updated myself. I think Least is going to go ahead and post a link in the chat. It has all of the official scheduled CPL casts. So anything that we know about in advance, I put on that calendar with a description of the event, description of the personnel, and a link to the Twitch. So you can always find anything that's going on in the Google Calendar. Of course, we also ping everyone that's online on Discord before we cast, but if you're hoping to catch something in particular, that's a good place to find it. We do have this week coming up, we have a masterclass tomorrow with models. So it's going to be a Protoss masterclass at 2 p.m. EDT. So be sure to tune in for that. It's going to be on Models Twitch channel, and I'm super excited for this class. Our next Apocalypse match is on Thursday. It is another ZVP, and it is another returning players ZVP. So we have Ben Elton up against Art of Turtle on Thursday at, I think, 2 p.m. EDT. Yeah, 2 p.m. EDT on Thursday as well on this channel, Least channel. And then, of course, on Thursday as well, we always have Match of the Week. So that's going to be Sat Zero coming at you probably with Nimblime, sometimes with another co-caster on the CPL Twitch channel. So that's Coach Pupil League is the Twitch ID. So be sure to check that out. And then on Monday, this coming Monday, on the 25th, we have another masterclass with Hawk. So that's going to be a Zerg masterclass, and that's on the calendar as well. Be sure to check that out. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And as always, we want to give a huge shout out to BSL, the Bombastic Star League. One of the top foreign tournaments in the scene. If you want to see some really high quality play from non-Korean players, make sure you click that link and give Zero a follow. He'll be going live this weekend with the round of 8. And we want to give another special shout out to STPL Kicks Team League. It has not given me the link in the chat for some reason, but I'll go ahead and link it anyways. It is another great foreign event. You get a team league with a lot of top players, so go check that out.
Right, guys. Just like Lise was saying, we don't have a lot of events in the foreign community, so I think it's very important for us to support the ones that we do have. If you guys have enjoyed CPL this season and you're looking to support the project, the league, we do have a Ko-fi for CPL. All of the money that goes to the Ko-fi, we are putting back into a couple of projects. One of them is we're looking at making a website for the league, which is being run currently by Ashen and Awardy and Scion. So they're putting a lot of work into that, and there's some funding needed for that project. And then we're also looking at trying to get some kind of sponsorship for Artosis or the Pylon Show before next league, so we can bring more new players into Brood War. So that's where that kind of project is going. And I just want to take a minute to thank you guys so much for your support on this stream with these casts this season. I think me and Lisa both had a lot of fun, and we really appreciate all the effort that Warp Gates has put in as well. We're going to keep doing these casts, and hopefully you'll see more from us in CPL mid-season, and maybe we'll get to cast some other events at some point soon. So thank you guys for your support. We really appreciate it.
And as has become custom for us, we are going to start out with a pre-interview. So I'm going to let Strom take over.
All right. Lisa's shy, so I'm going to do the interview. So we do have both of our players in the call. We have BT George, our Zerg player. Can you give a shout out? Yep. And Dragoon, our Protoss player.
Hello.
All right. So we have good audio from both players this time, so hopefully that holds up. All right, guys. So you guys have both been on this show before, and you both won your matches. So, George, how do you feel about Dragoon as a Protoss opponent versus Age, who you defeated quite convincingly before?
Yeah, I mean, I played Dragoon once before. I think it was last season in CPL, and yeah, he beat me. So I'm excited to have a rematch.
All right. How do you feel about his style in general, matching up against yours?
The last 3 games I played against Dragoon, I didn't really get a good feel for his style. I think he adapted well to the plays that I did. So I think it's just going to be a game of reading what the opponent's doing and then 5-pulling them.
That sounds wonderful to me. Very excited for this. I want to know your opinion on the maps. You've played all of these maps before because you've been on the show before, but how do you feel about them for ZVP, seeing as how there's a lot of 2-player maps?
Good, yeah. I'm really comfortable on 2-player maps against Protoss. I'm looking at the map list. I think Eddie can be a bit weird because sometimes the Protoss will just expand in the island base, so you have to scout that out. No, I think these are all very, very balanced maps.
That's really great to hear. How about you, Dragoon? How do you feel about George as an opponent versus IRK Yenta? I feel like my personal opinion, they're very different Zerg players. I want to know what your opinion on this match.
Yeah, I remember playing against Yenta. I can't say so much about George. So that makes me think that George plays a lot more standard and nothing too crazy like Yenta does.
Which do you feel more comfortable against?
The not too crazy.
The not too crazy. So you think that this match is going to be easy compared to the match against Yenta?
You said it, not me.
All right. George, you were in CPL last season, correct? How long have you been around the Brood War scene?
I started when Remastered came out in 2017.
And I know you've taken lessons with Jaeyoon. Can you talk a little bit about that experience?
Yeah, no, Jaeyoon's great. He's S rank for a reason. Yeah, I think I was early on traded. I gave him a career thing with some interview prep in computer science, and he gave me aircraft lessons. And yeah, that guy knows when to drone and meta and everything. So it was great being able to practice against someone who at the time I was D rank Zerg. Good to get to practice against someone who's A rank, who can macro like crazy and who can really stretch you.
Right. So do you feel like you came a long way from those lessons?
Yeah, absolutely.
And when was this?
I would say it was around about a year ago. Yeah, about last June.
All right. So that is actually after last season of CPL. So that would have been after you played Dragoon last, right?
Yeah, I think so. Me and Dragoon played a long time ago.
All right. Sounds like you are well equipped to challenge him this time around. Elise, do you have any questions?
Yeah, Dragoon. This one's aimed at you. You said you had a very funny joke while we were off camera. Would you like to tell that to the crowd?
I honestly forgot what it was.
That's fair enough. All right, we got. I'm ready to go.
We told him that we were going to ask him to say the joke, and he never said the joke. I feel cheated. Honestly,
okay.
like we brought you guys back on the show, and like I don't even know if we should have.
Well, I think George made a comment directly at Strom, and then I mentioned that I didn't realize this was a roast for the casters.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Right. I think I was talking about hopefully having some between the season CPL events. Can we count on you guys hanging around for future seasons?
Talking to us? I'm down.
I plan to.
All right. Well, I think that I can speak on behalf of everyone when I say I am very excited to see your guys' games today. So why don't you get off of the Discord call now, and we will go ahead and start.
Good luck, man.
You as well.
So good mannered.
So good mannered. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
PvZ, I actually. This is just our matchup. Like, we both have something to say. We both have a little bit of knowledge. It's good.
You don't have to try and cast Terran.
I don't have to try and cast Terran.
Yeah, first map's Escalade, by the way, guys. And we're going straight into it. All right, and we do have our Zerg player, BT George, in the upper left. And our Protoss player, Dragoon, in the bottom right, in the green. Good colors.
Good colors. Very contrasting. Let's see if they keep it this way or if they decide to go into like magenta versus purple.
No, we can't have that. Warpgates has the power now. He can change it.
That's very true.
They do it wrong.
Hopped on that top versus bottom life.
Yeah.
Whereas previously he didn't realize that if you do melee, it just goes yellow.
Right. So we have that all fixed now. We're really like working out the bugs here, guys. Both these players, we had them on the call and they were like, wow, this is different than the last time we did this.
We're slowly but surely getting there.
Yeah. But as you were saying, we haven't had a PvZ in a while. We've had a lot of ZVTs lately. So it's really nice to get a PvZ again. So hopefully you have a little bit more to say about Protoss than you do about Terran.
Yeah, just a little bit. I'll actually be able to contribute to the cast instead of just reading chat and replying to people.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I mean, oh yeah, Gate Expand.
Good times. This used to be like my all-time favorite build. What were you
I remember that. I was gonna say I don't remember him doing the Sienta, but that cast was a long time ago, so I don't remember it very well.
I really don't either. But is he cross scouting? What a baller!
No, he's not. He's not cross hacking. He's not cross scouting. This map's just sacred. I know. I thought the same thing for a second, but Escalade's just a weird map. I actually want to take a minute. Like, Escalade's a pretty weird map for ZVP, and I think it's actually really good for Protoss in a lot of ways because Zerg can't really play defensive lurker style on this map very easily because there's so many pathways. So you kind of have to opt for either like muta play, far-based turtle play, or like a lurker contain. You can't really play that like near third, fourth base into lurker defense style that's like really easy to play out of 5-hatch Hydra. So it's like kind of a map. It's a nice big 4-player map, but you can't play super standard Zerg on it. You have to do something a little bit different. Even if it is still like a standard game, which I'm expecting to see from George. You just like, it's very difficult to play that defensive style with lurkers because of the pathways.
Yeah, I agree. And we saw in a couple of the last PvZ series that we had, Some players opted to go 3-hatch Hydra on this map, but obviously with gate expand, not nearly as strong. So I think that's a really smart play from Dragoon to opt for gate expand on this map in particular.
I mean, I've been seeing 973 and 9734 as a good response to gate expand in kind of like recent times. And I know Crossy's been doing that 9734 against gate expand. It's less of a bust though, and more of a like transition to mid game. So it's not so much as a bust as just a build.
Okay. Yeah. That's
So
interesting. Yeah, he very well might. I remember playing against George back when he was like D rank, back when he was with the scrubs like me. And he tended to mix it in. He really had a nice range of builds. So I would not be surprised at all if you say it's good, and obviously he would have the knowledge, having been coached by Jaehoon and everything, then I would not be surprised to see him pull it out.
Right. I actually don't know that that's Jaehoon's response. That's more of a Crossy thing that I picked up. I think Jaehoon tends to go 5-hatch, no gas. But we do actually see that George is getting a lair. So his lair, like if he's intending to go Spire and get Scourge to stop the Corsair, he's going to be sorely disappointed because the Stargate's already started. Warpgate's just told us. So it's probably going to be a Hydra Den, and then to stop the Corsairs, and then fast Overlord speed. That's my guess. Like, I don't know. He can't expect to be going Spire.
Yeah, if he tried to go Spire, that would be a pretty crucial mistake. Really, in general, for those players that are just beginning, if your Cyber Core goes down faster than their lair, you're going to be in a really, and they're trying to go Scourge to stop your Corsairs, then you're in a pretty good spot. You're going to be able to kill some Overlords before it gets going. He is going Spire, and
he's going Spire, but he did scout that the Corsair was coming, so hopefully he has an answer. Because it doesn't really look like he's hidden his Overlords to me. But we'll see.
Oh, he does have that Hydra Den down, so he's going to be able to pump out some Hydras before. No problem.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, he will be able to stop the Corsair easily with Hydras. And then he still has the Spire option for later. So nice kind of in-between build. Corsair defense. Of course, the Overlord in the main is very important against Gate Expand. Just so you can see what they're going on, what they're following up with. You don't have to do that against Forge Fast Expand. You can just check the timing of the +1 on the Forge, and then scout with Scourge later, if you're doing that build. Of course, if you're not going Spire, then you have to put an Overlord in the main no matter what. And I expect that we're going to see lots of this, like, just very correct play from George. Like he was saying, he has worked with Jaehoon. And Jaehoon is a big macro Zerg. So
big macro Zerg. I'm excited to see Eddie. We've got a big macro Zerg on a big macro map for a big macro game.
Yeah, me too. I had it as the last map when I first wrote up the build order. And I actually switched it, so it's going to be the 6th map, because I figured, like, if it's map 9, maybe they won't play a macro game on it, so it was a very selfish switch for me.
You gotta.
Like, if it's the last map, I feel like they might be tired. Maybe they won't play a macro game. I'd love to see a macro game on Eddie. I just really like Eddie. It's a fun map.
It's a good map. I'm a little biased with the PvP shenanigans that go on reverse ramp maps, but other than PvP,
right.
It's a good map.
Yeah, I don't even consider PvP in, like, my thoughts, so, you know.
Yeah, it's just, it's really not a matchup. It's basically ZVZ for the less refined thinkers. Yeah, exactly. Oh, we've got a Dark Templar coming out. And there is no Overlord, it looks like, at this 3rd base. Oh, one just pops out. Let's see if he's able to take it out with these two Corsairs before this DT shows up. It looks like he should be able to. Some good micro here.
Yeah, nice micro by Dragoon. Not losing a Corsair. Oh, okay. As I say that, he loses a Corsair.
Yeah, great by him, not losing any single Corsairs.
I thought he wasn't going to lose it, but turns out Hydras are too good.
Hydras OP, man.
Yeah. Okay. So nice DT. I like this. I like this play from Dragoon. As we were kind of saying, like, George plays very standard, so this is going to be an interesting match because the last match that we casted of Dragoon, he was playing against Yenta, who's a very non-standard player. So the games were like really wild. Actually, if you guys haven't seen that series, if you can stomach the old audio and the old pixelated image, it was actually a really fun series with some really cool games because both players played very off-brand. But I feel like the dynamic is going to be very switched this time around because Dragoon is kind of a little bit off-brand and George is just so stock standard.
Oh, we've got a lot of Zealots coming out here. So this is going to be quite the timing push coming from Dragoon. And you can really see... I get too caught up in supply sometimes, but like 90 supply versus 50, that seems like it's going to be a pretty tough hold for George. He does have a bunch of Hydras on the way, and there is no Storm, it looks like, so he is going to...
Yeah, it really depends on the micro, too. It looks like it's going okay. Oh, but that one DT is doing a lot of damage, actually. And it looks like Dragoon's going to win this fight. Oh, yeah. He still is doing a lot of damage to Zerg because Zerg doesn't have a push anymore. And he's just kind of scrambling to keep up these Zealots. George, of course, droning behind an attack, as he should. But if he has no more units left, he's going to have a lot of difficulty cleaning this push up.
Yeah, and just the fact that he's not able to mine from this third base is such a... It's not as much of a hassle because it's Zerg, yeah, but still, any mining efficiency that you're losing by forcing your drones to go back to your natural instead of mining from your third base is such a pain. Such a pain.
Yeah, Dragoon with a commanding supply lead right now. I think this is pretty much it for George, to be honest. Like, Zerg on 2 bases is pretty bad, especially when it's Zerg on 2 bases against Protoss on 2 bases. I mean, you can just tell by looking at his money that he's just flat broke.
Yeah, his money not going up hardly at all. It's super frustrating to have to deal with that as a Zerg player. And it's not like he can afford to make drones so that he's not broke anymore. He has to continue pumping out units in a desperate attempt to hold this off.
Right, and Dragoon, of course, macroing behind it. Maybe not quite as well as he could, as he's floating quite a bit of money, but he still has more units, like more reinforcements coming on the map, and he does have Templars out now. So he's going to do a quick little Zealot High Templar push and take a third behind it, which I feel like is a really good move on his part. I actually think he's going to check for a 4th base first, so... Looking pretty perfect on Protoss side right now.
Man. Why do I bother going for Forge Fast Expand when Gate Expand is this broken?
Because every time you go Gate Expand, I just kill you with Zerglings.
That's a fair point.
True.
You've got me there.
I'm pretty sure that's when you stopped doing it, is when I killed you with Zerglings, when you Gate Expanded a couple times and you were just like, nope.
Not worth it. No, I pushed through the pain for a while, and then I stopped playing for like a month and a half, and then I was like, I don't want to relearn Gate Expand. I really, really don't. And so I was like, all right, I guess Forge Fast Expand it is. We see a small counterattack from George trying to attack this third, which, I mean, is a nice move. I just don't know if it's going to be enough to get him back in the game. We've got a big Protoss attack here, and there's just nothing at home. There's just no way. Yeah, George instantly taps out.
All right, rough first game for our Zerg player here. This is funny because we actually saw him lose the first game in his series against Agate in like a similar manner. Agate Gate Expanded. And it seems like George maybe is a little bit uncomfortable against Gate Expand. And it didn't look to me like he was expecting it from Dragoon.
Yeah, and with such a commanding win in the first game, you got to wonder if Dragoon just takes that as an opportunity to say, hey, I'm going to gate expand 3-4 times in this series, or even possibly more than that. It's not like it's a cheese by any means. It's completely reasonable opener. And if he's not comfortable against it, you might as well open it as many times as you want.
Right, exactly. Our next map, by the way, is going to be Tau Cross, one of our 3-player maps. Weird map. And it looks like we're going to jump right into Gate 2. And we do have our Protoss player Dragoon on the left-hand side of the map. Currently up 1-0 in the series. And we have VT George, our Zerg player, in the upper right-hand corner. In the red and orange. They did change colors. Maybe they're on random.
Colors.
I have no idea.
They very well might be. I feel like green, like going green the first game and then orange the second game. That's a bold play. That is
a bold play. Right, I guess George is still on red, so maybe George just likes playing as red.
Man after my own heart. That's like my second favorite color behind lime. But as soon as anyone else takes like a greenish color, I'm like, I'm not playing lime. Can't do it. Can't do it. Red's just a solid standby.
Yeah, I noticed you always play red against me, but I usually pick like a blue or a green or a purple color, so that's probably why, huh?
Exactly. We see Dragoon going one base. Warpgate's very insistent on pointing it out. He's still looking at the pylon.
It's so funny how you can like feel the personality of the observer and the observing. Like, this is one thing that I've learned from casting with an observer is that like the observer really can tell you stuff through observing, and they can also sass you through observing.
Very much. That's Warpgate's favorite thing to do is sass through observing.
Yeah, he's just taking revenge on the fact that we have him muted. So he's just reminding us that he has all the control. He can just shut down the stream if he wants to.
He really can. This is why the one downside to having a producer. The upside, of course, I don't have to do anything except for just sit here and talk. Downside, he has all the power now. He's got all the cards.
Right. I feel like that's better though, because you're unreliable.
True. Very true.
Yeah.
So we've got 2-gate coming out. I think if you see a pylon in main in the year of our Lord 2020, you're pretty much going to go 2-gate. Like 1-gate tech just doesn't seem to really work very well.
Yeah, that's true. I haven't seen it from a lot of people recently. I played it like a decent amount last CPL. And I played like Armada was practicing a 1-base opening for I think against random at the beginning of this season, and I played him doing that a couple times. But other than that, I just like basically like that Reaver build and the Corsair build. Like I just haven't seen that basically at all.
Right, I was doing the same thing like 6 months ago. I was trying to work on a Reaver build, and I thought I was onto something. I really was like, oh man, I'm so good. And then I realized if they just know how to micro hydras really well, then Reavers kind of suck.
Yeah, if you just like keep hydras in your middle line. Yeah. 1-base Protoss is just hard. Because, I mean, if Zergo's mutas, like, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah, exactly. It's brutal. So really the only thing I think you can do that's viable is, speaking of, we've got 3 Zealots coming out here. Should be able to deal with these Zerglings, but he's just kind of sitting back. That's interesting.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to want to take a very aggressive approach. I think he's making sure that he has enough units to fight the Zerg. But also, George got first scout with his Overlord, so he found this opening out really quickly. And he was able to just make lings when his pool finished. So that's actually very strong for Zerg, is just the ability to make lings. Like, you can really catch them off guard if they decide to make drones. But if they just build lings after their overpool, you should have an advantage as Zerg in the fight, as long as you don't miss micro.
Oh, this is interesting. So he's going into a pretty fast forge. He's probably going to be expanding behind this off like 7 Zealots. I don't know if he's forced enough to get away with this, though, right? Like...
Yeah, I'm not sure. It depends on what kind of follow-up George goes for. You did see that he put his third hatchery in his main. Against this particular build that Dragoon is doing and the amount of, or the not amount of pressure that he's putting on, he probably could have just taken that hatchery at the third. But, I mean, it's good to respect it, too. I kind of expect George to go mutas because that's Jaeyoon's response to one base.
Yeah, that's what I really like, I really hate as a Protoss player, to be honest, but I think it's really strong to go for Mutalisks, because the whole thing with 2-gate, it's not like their economy is hurt, like they're going all in or something. Their tech is delayed. That's the whole weakness of 2-gate. So going Mutalisks kind of points that out really well. We do see Dragoon pushing in here. We've got a lot of links coming in for the surround, though. We'll see what happens. Looks like... Man, I don't even know. He's going to come.
Yeah. There's a lot of lings here for George. Looks like there's going to be 2 Zealots left over, but I think he macroed lings behind this. So he should be able to clean this up. No big deal. And I don't know if that was really worth it for Dragoon, to be honest. I'm not sure if Dragoon can hold a ling follow-up, but like I said, George is going to go into lair from here. So hopefully he has 3 Zealots and 2 cannons, but I'm not a huge fan of his wall, so I guess we'll see how this goes.
I'm just glad that was closer than I thought it was going to be. I was so worried after I said, I don't know, man, that it was going to be a complete demolition, all the Zealots die and there's 10 lings. He is going, he's just running into C. Gonna see how many Zealots are still there, plus 2 cannons. Not gonna be worth it to try and bust, probably.
Right. And George probably not gonna choose to bust anyways. I think he's going to drone up and get mutas, and then just play a macro game. He's a very macro player. So this response doesn't surprise me at all. He's like budget Jaeyoon.
He's budget Jaeyoon. That's a good way of putting it. And just to contrast it with last game, we had the Stargate almost done last game, and the lair was yet to finish. But in this game, the Spire and the Stargate are actually going down about the same time. So you can really see how much 2-gate delays your tech.
Right. Okay, so... double Stargate.
Okay.
Huh, interesting response. I guess he's kind of blind countering the muta switch?
I guess, but it feels like, at least to me, the big worry about the muta follow-up isn't that you aren't gonna eventually be able to build up enough Corsairs, it's that they're not going to come fast enough, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I feel like it's going to hit, and he's going to have 3 Corsairs, and his whole extra Stargate has produced 1 Corsair, you know?
Right, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, that really makes sense, because the mutas are on the way now. So, and he has a good amount of lings to deal with these Zealots, too. I mean, Dragoon definitely has a lot of supply, but I don't know.
This seems a little bit ambitious from Dragoon. He's just getting completely surrounded here. Gonna lose all his Zealots, and now it just seems like such a strong position for George. He's got a tech advantage. He's got map control. He's taking his 3rd base. He'll be able to drone while he's kind of screwing around with the mutas. Oh,
right.
Take out this Corsair, though.
Yeah, that's the one thing about this situation for Zerg, is that he really is on not very many drones. And Protoss got his natural up decently quickly, but lings are also good. So
lings are very good, and looks like he's just gonna come right in here, take out these cannons,
and probably the Zealot as well. And I think there's going to be, I don't know that he's going to die here, yeah. So he's going to go ahead and save the Zerglings. But definitely going to scare Protoss. He has a lot of Corsairs. So I'm not sure if George went Muta or if he just got his with Scourge. It looks like he is actually just going to go into Hydras, so I like this play. Did he scout the double Stargate with the Overlord? Maybe he did.
He had to. Like, there's no way. Maybe it's just my feeble Protoss mind, but if I saw a 2-gate and I was a Zerg player, I'd be going mutas all day unless I specifically scouted double Stargate.
Well, I mean, the thing is that he wasn't very aggressive with his 2-gate and he expanded pretty quickly. So it doesn't super surprise me. But I mean, definitely hiding the Corsairs for so long and just showing them now. You see George is going to go ahead and throw up 2 spores at each base. Hopefully he builds an evolution chamber as well so he can actually build the spores. Oh, he built one there. Yeah. Just to protect his overlords so we can get some Hydras out. Like, definitely going to lose a lot of overlords to these Corsairs. But this is these are important kills for Dragoon as well, because if he doesn't get these kills, the choice for double Stargate just means he has less units.
Right, yeah. And even with these kills,
I mean, he has a good supply lead. He's double in the supply. I know you feel bad about Protoss, but he forced a lot of lings.
I just don't like double Stargate, to be honest. And that's my own bias. Maybe I just suck at it. Like, he's executing it very well. But it feels to me like when I go double Stargate, I take out 10 overlords and feel super good about myself, and then they get unsupply blocked and just run me over. Because he does have a really good supply lead. And part of that is because he went 2-gate, and I feel like you get a pretty good supply lead off 2-gate. But you got to think about the fact that 16 of that supply is just Corsairs too. So if he gets some spores up, he has a few Hydras at the base to defend. That 16 supply is just worthless. It's not going to get anything done.
Right. I mean, he has enough Corsairs that he can just ignore the spores and just kill the overlords anyways.
Oh my god. Corsairs are broken. What? Why does this not... This is not how my games look when I go double Stargate. Dragoon is still good.
Yeah, you actually need a good count of Hydras to deal with this. The spore helps, but you can micro pretty easily against the spore, and then just we're seeing 38 supply out of 14. We're just gonna supply block Zerg infinitely here.
This is so painful.
Right, and he's taking a 3rd base behind us. George has a 4th, but he hasn't even droned his 3rd all the way, as far as I can tell. And we're just kind of seeing this is becoming a dire situation for our Zerg player. He does manage to unsupply block himself, but Dragoon is more than double his supply now. So, I mean, I know low supply Zerg can make magic happen, but this seems like a rough situation for George to me.
I actually really like I don't like 2 Stargate that much in general, but it's doing surprisingly well off this 2-gate opener. You force them, especially the fact that he didn't get punished for his slower tech. I don't know, it just seems a lot more effective than just a standard Forge Fast expand into 2 Stargate. Maybe he's just way better than me, I don't know, man.
I mean, that's probably true as well, but...
very definitely true, but...
Alright. So we did see that George has gone into Lurkers. Looks like he's kind of built up enough spores and Hydras that the Corsair harass can be over for now. Of course, that threat is always there for the rest of the game. And I guess we're going to see if he's able to catch up in supply at all. Because he's quite behind at the moment. And he's going to need to get a healthy drone count up. And to get his macro out later in the game. Oh, and this is going to be a DT drop. Nice. There is a spore and a sunk, though, so he should be able to take care of it. Oh, 2 DTs, 2 zealots. He'll want some units as well, but I don't think George sees it quite yet.
And he's just gonna chill back here, I guess. Maybe give George a false sense of security.
Right, or just wait for a fight. Happening. Right? If you just wait for you to attack them, and then they're not looking. Because
That would
that
be
kind
really
of thing
cool.
is like, you've done the drop off. All you have to do is move it into the main, or if you want.
Yeah,
And then
especially
just
with
wait
those
for them to
zealots,
not be looking.
with those zealots to tank the sunken shots. That actually could be really strong.
All right,
Oh my
so okay, we're gonna see the drones pulled, and hydras come in to defend. So 4 hydras at first. Of course, that sport is going to go down, so we're gonna need to get an overlord in here for vision. Otherwise, Zerg is going to be in trouble. All right, 2 overlords come in, and I'm going to be able to clean this up. Of course, you can see how if he had done that and attacked at the same time, it would have been very difficult for Zerg to stop. Oh, he gets the Spire. How did he...
Oh my gosh.
What happened to the overlords? Oh my goodness. Nice pickoff.
With the Spire going down,
Drops are good.
Drops are very good, for sure. I guess that answers my question. I was going to say, is it that big a deal, though? But yeah, for sure, you want Scourge so that you can try and pick off shuttles.
Yeah, exactly. So George just has some lurkers out, but he's still... Dragoon is still over double the supply. So Zerg's still in trouble here. And Dragoon probably going to be able to pick off the 4th base or end the game with this push. You see, George actually doesn't have vision of where the Protoss army is too. So that is going to be difficult for him. He can't bring his units down here in time to defend this because he doesn't know that it's happening.
Right, yeah, and that's the big thing with Zerg is you really need to be able to tell where the Protoss army is going so that you can get all your troops there. Zerg is fast, but they're not this fast. Like, just now, guys getting in there. Huge storm, he takes a ton of damage.
Right, and there was actually only 1 observer with this army, but you see, George just didn't have the amount of units that he needed to save, or to pick off the observer. Like, if he had a control group of Hydras at this base, waiting, he could have picked off that observer and held this infinitely, which is the kind of thing that you can do when you're very low in supply as Zerg against a higher supply Protoss army. But very difficult to do that when even like you just can't punish that 1 observer if you don't know where the army is. Basically, is what I'm trying to say with too many words. More words.
You don't have to talk to me about too many words, man. If there's one person here that uses too many words too often, it's definitely this guy. But
well, it's not that you use too many words, it's just that you say them really slowly.
Very true.
It's like every word requires many thoughts.
They call me a more talkative Tim, really. In my brain is just endless Tim is typing over and over again. The Discord notifications.
Hashtag Tim is typing. Oh no, the drones are gonna get caught. I'm not sure why they're here. Maybe it was a rally or something. But this Protoss army going to come in here, and of course we have no lurkers buried and ready for this fight. So going to be very difficult for George to defend this. I think he just doesn't have the supply. And of course Dragoon taking a nice 4th base after or behind this. As he storms his own army, but that's okay.
He's just doing it for the style points at this point. He's like, all right, we can storm my own army. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Yeah, this is just way too much Protoss, man. He's still... George is at 50 supply and Dragoon's almost maxed out, even with the fight that just took place.
Right, yeah. Alright, and a nice second game from Dragoon here. He's really not letting George play his game. And it's working out really well for him. And George calls GG, and second game is going to go to Dragoon.
I just gotta say, the 1G into GG, super classy. Super classy. Doesn't even take the chance that someone can misinterpret the 1G. He's like, I'm going to be mannered even if I got to stay in this game for 5 more minutes to fix the typing. All right, Dragoon playing extremely well. honestly, George has had his moments too. Like that hold at the fourth base that last game, I really didn't think he was going to hold that. So give credit where credit's due. But Dragoon just outclassing him a little bit here so far.
Yeah, he's definitely making George uncomfortable. And I feel like that's very good series play from him.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. The gate expand, the 2-gate. Let's see if he keeps these aggressive openers up or if he decides to mix in something a little more passive like a Forge Fast Expander at 11 next.
Right, and our third map here is going to be Match Point. And in the bottom left, we do have our Protoss player Dragoon in the white, currently up 2-0 in the series. And we have our Zerg player, VT George, in the upper right, in the red. Sticking with red. That's our guy.
That's
Dragoon,
the guy. Dragoon's on random. There's no question.
Yeah.
But George picking his color, sticking to it.
I think he's got his builds on random too.
Oh, very. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I'm hilarious.
You're all right. You're all right.
Do you realize that your Streamlabs command says exclamation point casters for who our casters and producers are, but actually they're crew. It's crew.
No, I changed it to casters.
Oh.
Because that's just more. I don't know. I feel like more people, if they don't want to type in help, and they're just like, oh, I want to know who the casters are, that's what they're going to type in, you know?
Well, I feel like we are not giving Warp Gates enough credit, but I always feel like that. Because literally, this isn't... You guys think that it's me and Lise that runs this thing? It's definitely not.
It's definitely
100% Warp Gates.
Warp Gate is killing the game as our producer. And to be fair, I did give him some credit. I said Warp Gates is the producer. It's just under the caster link.
Okay. Good.
But the super annoying probe block here.
Yeah, this is tilting me already.
Nothing more tilting for a Zerg player to watch than be like, oh, I'm going to go. Oh my gosh. And the pylon. This guy.
Right. So he was planning on going 12 hatch, but instead he just threw down the spawning pool, and he's going to have to take his natural hatchery after. So a very annoying probe from Protoss. And looks like Dragoon is going to do an FFE this game. So an opener that George is probably a lot more comfortable with. So we'll see how he does in this game on match point.
You've said before, though, this is not a super awesome map for Zerg just because of the lack of bases, right? So, I mean, if there was one map that Dragoon could let up on the aggression and mix in something more passive, this would probably be a great map to do it on.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I like this play on this map. This probe is so annoying.
Oh my gosh, it's 250, and he doesn't have a natural.
Yeah, he's going to have to just take his third hatchery. I think he's actually might just take the gas base in the bottom right. It looks like that's a drone to me.
This is...
maybe he'll just go really fast for base. Or not. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know why there was a drone down there, though, to be fair. In my defense, I don't know what the drone is.
No, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, why is there this drone hanging out? Is he going to take the base or not? But
yeah, I thought he might just take that as his third, but it's okay. It does look like there's no Zealot and 6 Lings because it got delayed a lot by... So he can just run in here and kill this cannon.
If he stops hesitating.
Yeah, the hesitation. Yeah. So he does get Lings through to the main. And this is going to be a test for Zerg and for Protoss as far as multitasking goes. He could have killed... I think you can run in and kill the cannon with 6 Lings, but as Lee said, he did hesitate for a second. So that's why he ran by, because he didn't... he couldn't get in and surround the cannon with the moment of hesitation. He would have just lost all his Zerglings, so...
I really think, though, with the again, I'm a Protoss player. I'm biased, but with the wall that he's got set up right now, and the fact that his zealots are pretty delayed by the fact that he put down multiple pylons, I feel like a Ling all-in could be pretty strong.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like that's. I think that's probably what I would do in this situation, just because he has one cannon and he's not even blocking his wall, and his probe died. Like, I feel like that's just disrespect.
Exactly. I mean, it's George. He wants to play a standard game, but I think mixing in something like that.
It's disrespectful. Like, you're not respecting. You're just like, this Zerg is not going to build Lings.
As a Protoss player, this is bullying.
Yeah, I know. Like, this is ridiculous. Alright, does get one probe, but going to go ahead and lose all the Lings in the main. I feel like the real play with those Lings is to just keep them alive until speed's done, because then you can do a lot more harassment.
Right, yeah.
But he was able to keep scouting, and it probably taxed both of their multitasking just to have the Lings there, so. He honestly could still just build speedlings, in my opinion.
He really could. He really,
And he's just bleeding zealots. Like, if he just built Lings...
He's not making any attempt to block this wall. He's not making any attempt to try and block this wall with zealots.
Yeah.
He just keeps sending him out.
Yeah, Dragoon's basically just like, you are not going to build any more Zerglings than you need to defend my zealots. And I count on that.
Even just builds that we take for granted as perfectly safe, like 13-13, I've learned from playing, oh my gosh, 6 around, super well executed by George, cleaning up these zealots here. But like 13 Nexus, 13 Cannon.
Right.
I've always been like, oh, that's super safe. Yeah, there's no chance. But if they just don't chase your probe at all and immediately run to your base, and you don't try and block with probes, you can still die. There's just so many times that Protoss thinks they're safe, and it's like, no, you gotta reevaluate your priorities a little bit if they really decide to be aggressive with Lings.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I guess George kind of gets what he wants in this situation anyways. Dragoon bled a lot of zealots, and his zealots were late, so he's not going to really have very much of a timing push by any means. So he should be able to drone very hard and only build a couple Hydras as a defense for DT or Zealot and go straight into that 4th base. And the one thing about match point that's kind of its saving grace for Zerg is that, like, yeah, if you see he's going to take top left, I feel like this is a difficult base to hold for Protoss. Like, I think he's going to try and take this base right now, right? Okay, maybe he's just scouting. I'm wrong. All right.
I mean, what's new?
Okay, look, in the last series, we saw Dragoon take a hidden base like 4 times.
Mutalisks. Okay.
Oh, I like it. Nice play. I actually really like this. George likes this 5 Muta opener. I've seen him do it quite a few times. And I think it should be pretty strong in this case. I mean, he can't delay the mutas. Like, he can't make the mutas leave his base by sending zealots across the map because he just doesn't have very many zealots because he bled them all out earlier.
That's actually super big brained. That makes a lot of sense. Like, he just what recourse does Protoss have right now? He doesn't have much.
Yeah, it's not like he has like 10 speed zealots right now. He's got, like, I think Warcase just showed us he has like 6 zealots. He just lost that Corsair to Scourge. Now there's mutas in his natural and he has no answer. I mean, you can bleed Corsairs in here one at a time, but like mutas are too good for that.
Mutas are too good for that. Come on.
Let's
be real. Let's be real. We do see an Archon going down with a couple Corsairs slowly building up, but it just feels like the damage has been done. There's so many probe kills on these Mutalisks. The whole natural isn't even mining right now.
Alright, we'll see how George is able to handle these zealots. Looks like he does have some Lings and a Sunk. Going to lose a couple drones, but he's droning pretty hard behind this, so I think he'll be okay.
Oh my gosh, the fact that Sunken lived is actually so tilting. He's like,
you're like already
tilted.
tilted. You're just like, this is why we can't cast CVPs, because you just get tilted. Protoss is up 2-0 and you're still tilted. That's like earlier. I feel like that. Remember, we were playing games earlier, guys, and I think there was like one of the games that you won. I messed up my macro and I got supply blocked, so I couldn't save my 4th base. And you just went and killed my 4th base, and I just counterattacked you and got lurkers in your natural. And you were just like, if I lose this game, I don't understand this matchup at all. And I felt like after that, you were just like tilted, even though you won the game. I was like, winning that game was like the most tilting thing that happened to you, even though you lost other games that could have tilted you instead.
When I don't understand something, I am so frustrated. That's my thing. I know how to play like normal macro builds, but as soon as someone throws something I don't understand, I'm just like, all right, well, I guess this is over.
Yeah.
And someone counterattacks me, I'm like, all right, this sucks. And it does more damage than I expect.
Yeah, I think it was just that, like just getting the lurkers in the choke. Oh,
Dark Archon.
Yes, we see the Dark Archon. Thank you. We have acknowledged your presence.
I gotta say, I don't know how I feel about this. It's very exciting for sure, because you don't see Dark Archons that often, but at the same time, he hasn't made that many Mutalisks. So it's not like you're gonna get that sick Maelstrom on 11 Mutalisks and then storm them, and then you kill 1,000 worth of Mutalisks instantly.
Right.
That's just not gonna happen.
Yeah, I think the reason why he made it is actually just because he didn't keep any coursers alive. So if Zerg did decide to do a Mutaswitch later on, he actually doesn't have any defense from that. Like he has like 4 coursers or something. So if Zerg 3 coursers. So if Zerg decides to build 9 mutas instead of building lurkers in the mid game, then it becomes very difficult for Protoss. So I think that's just kind of like a choice that you have to make. Are you gonna keep your coursers alive to try and stop this, or are you gonna build like multiple Archons and stay really on top of your army movement, or like okay.
Oh, nice. That was actually a pretty sick store. Yeah, sick Maelstrom. The downside to making these Archons, though, I don't think he really has... Yeah, he has like 2 storms max. He's going to be able to hold this off, but imagine if there were just... Imagine in the future when he is able to attack with more Hydralisks. You need Storm. So badly, Zealot versus Hydra.
Right, and we do see Dragoon is going to be taking a hidden expansion at 12. And Zerg's going to take a 4th base at bottom right.
This is such a Protoss move. This is such
a Dragoon move. I feel like we've seen him do this in like almost every series that we've watched him play.
I'm down. Just gonna take a base that no one's ever gonna expect.
He did this in the masterclass that he played at. Like this man is the king of hidden bases. Looks like he has Protoss in. Yeah. All right, we have the Archon getting some drone kills. Lots of Zealots here. No lurkers for Zerg yet. Here they are right now. So I was going to say, it's very difficult to hold off Zealot attacks until you get lurkers. Like, large amounts of Zealots are difficult to micro-hydra games. But it looks like he is going to clean this up, and he did evacuate the drone, so he will be able to bring those back. And we now have Zerg with a supply lead. So I'm feeling very good about George's position in this game right now.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. I mean... He's got a couple Mutalisks, I guess. Does he even? They just all died to that Maelstrom, right?
Yeah, he only had 4, though, to be fair. Like, the damage was kind of done with the Mutas.
The Mutas, there's no supply buff when you only have 4 Mutas. It's one thing if you're, like, even supply, and he's got 11 Mutalisks, but when he's got 4 and you're down 20, it's a little bit of a different game. George in a commanding position, really, if there was just some way for him to sniff out this hidden base, he would have this game on lockdown. The only way I can see Dragoon getting back in is...
with the hidden base. But to be honest, I feel like this hidden base isn't doing him any favors. Like, the only thing that it's doing right now is costing him money, because he's built a whole bunch of cannons up there. Like, I feel like the play at this point from Dragoon, when you're this far behind, is to just build probes there and hope they don't find it. And if they find it, then while you stop mining there and hope you've mined enough to get yourself back in the game. Like, I feel like investing in defense before you reap any reward from a hidden base is a mistake. And it looks like George is going to scout it right now.
Yeah, see that pylon going down with the Overlord, and has these 2 lurkers here. There's no way he's really going to be able to get that many reinforcements there unless he really commits to it. So good positioning there from George.
Right, and this is now a difficult situation for Protoss because George knows about his 3rd base, and Protoss can only get so many gas units off of 2 gases. So like Templars and Archons and Dark Archon, like all of those units become very precious when you're only on 2 gas. So it looks like George not going to punish that base just yet. He doesn't have very many units up here, actually. I'm not sure where his army is.
Did he just make infinity drones? Is that what happened here? Like,
I'm not sure. I don't actually know what his drone count is. But he must... Like, where is his army? He's got to have units somewhere.
If Dragoon wins this game.
Where is his unit?
He has 100 supply worth of drones.
He just have...
What is happening?
I mean, he definitely has a lot of drones, but like, does he just have no units at all? Like, I'm so confused right now.
Yeah, I know. I literally
like he just
don't understand.
Like, he should have like at least 2 control groups of Hydras, and I just don't see any units. From George at all. Like, I don't know where they are. There's 2 lurkers there. And I think there's some lurkers coming in. Being forward with lurkers is always difficult. Getting stormed on this ramp.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Sickest storms of all time. We see 1-0 upgrades on 3rd and 2-1 for our Protoss player. So the double forge style that has been a little bit more popular, and you can just see there wasn't that much Zerg to begin with, but the Zerg that was there just kind of melted.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Zerg definitely has to keep up in upgrades. Yeah, I'm not really sure why he's attacking up that ramp. I feel like maybe the better play would have been to just hold that high ground and trap Protoss there and then go counterattack. But I don't know. Definitely a difficult situation for Zerg now. Losing that 4th base, very crucial because Dragoon got up his 12 o'clock expansion, and he also took his mineral only. So Protoss has all the money in the world right now. And Zerg just doesn't have any units.
The sickest lurker harass of all time. Just casually sitting there with 2 lurkers and then probes transferring right into the lurkers. But yeah, like you said, this game, the tables turned so quickly. 3 minutes ago, I was like, oh man, this is such a strong spot for George.
Yeah.
And seemingly out of nowhere, it's 4 base to 3. It doesn't seem like George is really going to be able to break this hidden base, even though he knows it's there. And he just doesn't really have that many units.
Yeah, he's just very low on units in general. I mean, I guess he must have had a lot of drones. Like, that whole supply lead into having no units on the map really confused me. But I guess the other thing he tried to do is, like, Protoss was stuck on 2 bases for a long time, which means they have to macro up a 2-0 push. And he just, he teched to Hive. And I feel like that's a mistake. Like, I feel like you need to stay on Hydra Lurker until Protoss is, taking a 3rd. And then you can go ahead and tech up to Hive. But if you tech up to Hive really early, then you just don't have enough stuff to defend the push. You need a lot of lurkers to defend these pushes from Protoss.
Zergling's taken out the Archon before it can morph. Even though Protoss is in a commanding position, still a little bit tilting. Oh my gosh. Does he have enough cannons at this hidden base? I cannot tell. He could mine out 3 of these minerals, and it would still not be worth the amount of cannons that he put down. Oh my goodness. Okay, that's an exaggeration, but like he threw down hella cannons.
Yeah, he definitely put down a lot of cannons there. We did see him also take 6 o'clock behind that fight. So Dragoon, kind of sucking up a lot of the resources on the map right now. I'm wondering what his probe count is like, actually. Okay, lots of probes at the natural. I'm wondering if he just maybe. What does this look like to you? Does it look like he's low on probes, or is he okay?
No, I think he seems totally fine as far as probes go. It's tough because obviously the more probes you have, the less army you have. And with Zerg, so much of it is, can I have this big scary death ball roaming around the map? So anything you do to have less death ball is kind of scary.
Right. It looks like we do see George kind of trying to do a little counterattack here with his lings, but he kind of didn't send them in all at once. So they got cleaned up pretty easily by the reinforcements and the cannons that were there. You really have to get surrounds with lings, otherwise they're not as strong.
Oh my gosh. I just bit my tongue. I'm the worst caster of all time. But like 5 base to 3 and Dragoon has the 6th base position locked up. It's just such a difficult position.
Yeah, I know, me too. He moved them out of the way just in time. I definitely thought he was going to storm all his own probes. Yeah, George is floating a lot of money right now, too. Like, I'm not sure if he just doesn't have enough hatcheries or what's going on with his macro, but I think he needs a lot more lurkers. Like, this just, like, running around with groups of lings. It's just never going to work. This is just bleeding units. Like, these bases are done. Like, they're sieged. You're not going to get them without defilers. You need defilers to get into these bases. And you need to have your army in one spot. And your defiler in another spot.
Yeah, it feels like he's trying to buy time, but I feel like with time, the Protoss lead is just going to expand.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Like, as Protoss, if you're on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 5 bases, it's not up to you to do something. Like, it's up to Zerg to do something. And I mean, that's kind of the style. Like, if you're going to play defensive Zerg style, you really want to be up on bases because you want it to be Protoss's job to do something. You don't want to have to do something with your units if you're building lots of lurkers.
Right, and we do see the 4th base going down yet again for George. I don't know how he's going to be able to. I don't know how he's going to be able to do this. He just didn't have enough gas, as we can see. He was floating like 1,700 minerals, but just didn't have any gas.
Right, and he's going to go ahead and GG tap out of this game. And with that, we have a 3-0 lead for Dragoon in the series. I have to say, not quite what I was expecting. When I set this matchup at the beginning, I had someone tell me, you can't set this matchup because George is going to destroy Dragoon. So, I mean, I don't know. Looks like, I definitely think that Dragoon has come a long way with his PvZ.
Yeah, and Dragoon being on Samyang, there's so many good Zergs on that team, so it makes a lot of sense that if he really puts his mind to grinding on this particular matchup, he's going to make a lot of progress really fast. But with 3 games, we are going to be back in just a minute on Neo Sylphid. We are going to go to a quick break, give the players a little bit of a rest, give me a chance to get some water, and we'll be back in just a moment.
All right, don't go away, guys. We'll be right back. Terran's still on 1 base. I don't blame him for that.
Yeah, you just have to stay alive. You just have to stay alive, and you're in a great position. You don't have to get too greedy as far as getting a bunch of stuff going.
All right, looks like Shroom gonna go ahead and try and take his natural. He has quite a force of like army supply on the map right now, so he should be able to defend this fairly easily. As long as he's probably going to want to get some turrets up here eventually at his natural. And Silver still sitting on his 3 bases with his hidden third unscouted, so. Not going lurkers yet, though. Just keeping on building mutas, I think. And it looks like Shroom's going to go into a tank push.
I mean, as someone, how do you feel about mass mutas versus this tank push? Obviously, tanks don't shoot up, so it should be pretty good for him, right?
Well, it really depends on the micro. Like, the Shroom's starting to hit a higher mass of units. But if he can pick off the tank with the mutas with some good micro or counterattack, it can be really strong. Like, Shroom only has, I think, 2 turrets in his main. So if he just sends all the mutas to his main while this is happening, then Shroom just can't ever move across the map. And with those SCV kills, he's effectively back on 1 base. Yeah, see, he can't move out because there's mutas in his main.
Yeah, this just seems increasingly worse and worse for Shroom.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on the muta micro, of course. But I think Silver's doing a pretty good job so far. That wasn't ideal, but that's okay. He is losing some mutalisks. But he does also see the tank, which is important for Zerg. You can always put up forward sunkens to delay the push. Alright, still losing some mutas, but picking off a ton of SCVs here.
Yes, there's just no SCVs there. He's forced the pull, and he's killed so many of them. This is just really, really good. Anytime you see a Zerg up in supply, they're probably in a pretty good position. And mutas are, of course, a supply buff, as you said earlier, but still, 30 supply up at this point in the game, pretty dang good for Zerg.
Yeah, definitely not bad at all by any means. He is running out of mutas. I'm not sure what his kind of tech choice is going to be behind this. If he's going to, looks like he's going into lurkers. I wouldn't be surprised. Oh yeah, mass muta still and into lurkers. So I actually think that, I mean, he can just fly in the main. Like, this push is coming out. He unfortunately doesn't have vision of the front. But if Silver just sends all of his mutas, well, even just to attack this, like, Shroom just doesn't have that many units, to be honest, and he's kind of moving them out single file. Like, this is Conga Line Terran, and mutas destroy Conga Line Terran.
Yeah, you really need to be bunched up in a little bit of a ball. But this map, especially if you're going through the center, makes it extremely hard not to Conga Line. And you can see exactly what's going on. Just like you said, these mutas are just moving in, and there's just not enough here from Shroom.
Yeah, just too many mutas overall. Definitely you can see why muta micro is helpful, because Marines are pretty good. I think a counterattack in the main would have been a lot better here. I actually think Silver kind of threw away a bit of his lead with that attack. You can always like micro one group of mutas and then A-move the rest of them. But A-move mutas in general are really dumb, because muta AI is pretty bad. So I was once playing a 2v2 and there was a zealot attacking something, and I had like 9 mutas just sitting over the zealot, and they just like wouldn't kill it.
That's so sad. Oh my god.
They just weren't shooting. I was like, what? Okay.
I complain about Dragoons, but at least Dragoons don't cost 100 to get countered by a unit that has 50 minerals.
Losing a lot of mutas for that tank, but does manage to pick off both of them with some pretty good micro. Terran able to get his natural up behind this, though, so going to be, well, he doesn't have very many SCVs. I don't know, definitely a very weird game from these two players. And Shroom still doesn't know about the third base. I'm almost positive.
Yeah, the longer this third base survives, I mean, without any kind of pressure at all, without forcing Silver to go try and defend it, obviously the better and better this gets for Silver.
Right. See, this play I like a lot. Just put the mutas where Terran isn't. And he just can't even stop this. Like, He just doesn't have enough defense at home because he had to take all of his units with him in order to even pressure the natural of Silver.
This is so... The big advantage to Zerg in any matchup is the mobility that you have with units like the Mutalisk, units like the Speedlink, and Silver taking full advantage of that right now.
Yeah, it's just that units are so much faster for Zerg. So if you can get around armies and then just like counterattack them, like counterattacks are so strong as a Zerg player. Just to even slow, like you can just fly in and just because you're there, they have to turn around. And if they don't turn around, you can just kill them. So we do see, by the way, Warp Gates. Yeah, we do see, by the way, that Warp Gates pointing out that we do have a upgrade on the mutas. He probably pointed that out a while ago, and I'm just dumb and never said it. But
me too. It's good. Me too.
Yeah, getting back into it.
First, I mean, we had Ashen versus Bojack, and then other than that, we haven't had anything in 2 weeks. And we do see a big attack coming in here from Silver. That should be the end of it. Yeah, Shroom does tap out.
Terran still on one base. I don't blame him for that.
Yeah, you just have to stay alive. You just have to stay alive, and you're in a great position. You don't have to get too greedy as far as getting a bunch of stuff going.
All right, looks like Shroom gonna go ahead and try and take his natural. He has quite a force of like army supply on the map right now, so he should be able to defend this fairly easily. As long as he's probably gonna want to get some turrets up here eventually at his natural. And Silver still sitting on his 3 bases with his hidden third unscouted, so not going lurkers yet though. Just keeping on building mutas, I think. And it looks like Shroom's gonna go into a tank push.
I mean, as someone, how do you feel about mass mutas versus this tank push? Obviously, tanks don't shoot up, so it should be pretty good for him, right?
Well, it really depends on the micro. Like, the Shroom's starting to hit a higher mass of units. But if he can pick off the tank with the mutas with some good micro or counterattack, it can be really strong. Like, Shroom only has, I think, 2 turrets in his main. So if he just sends all the mutas to his main while this is happening, then Shroom just can't ever move across the map. And with those SCV kills, he's effectively back on 1 base. Yeah, see, he can't move out because there's mutas in his main.
Yeah, this just seems increasingly worse and worse for Shroom.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on the muta micro, of course. But I think Silver's doing a pretty good job so far. That wasn't ideal, but that's okay. He is losing some mutalisks. But he does also see the tank, which is important for Zerg. You can always put up forward sunkens to delay the push. Alright, still losing some mutas, but picking up a ton of SCVs here.
Yes, there's just no SCVs there. He's forced the pull, and he's killed so many of them. This is just really, really good. Anytime you see a Zerg up in supply, they're probably in a pretty good position. And mutas are, of course, a supply buff, as you said earlier, but still, 30 supply up at this point in the game, pretty dang good for Zerg.
Yeah, definitely not bad at all by any means. He is running out of mutas. I'm not sure what his kind of tech choice is going to be behind this. If he's going to, looks like he's going into lurkers. I wouldn't be surprised. Oh yeah, mass muta still and into lurkers. So I actually think that, I mean, he can just fly in the main. Like, this push is coming out. He unfortunately doesn't have vision of the front, but if Silver just sends all of his mutas, well, even just to attack this, like, Shroom just doesn't have that many units, to be honest, and he's kind of moving them out single file. Like, this is Conga Line Terran, and mutas destroy Conga Line Terran.
Yeah, you really need to be bunched up in a little bit of a ball. But this map, especially if you're going through the center, makes it extremely hard not to conga line. And you can see exactly what's going on. Just like you said, these mutas are just moving in, and there's just not enough here from Shroom.
Yeah, just too many mutas overall. Definitely you can see why muta micro is helpful because Marines are pretty good. I think a counterattack in the main would have been a lot better here. I actually think Silver kind of threw away a bit of his lead with that attack. You can always like micro one group of mutas and then A-move the rest of them. But A-move mutas in general are really dumb because muta AI is pretty bad. So I was once playing a 2v2 and there was a zealot attacking something and I had like 9 mutas just sitting over the zealot and they just like wouldn't kill it.
That's so sad. Oh my god.
They just weren't shooting. I was like, what? Okay.
I complain about Dragoons, but at least Dragoons don't cost 100 to get countered by a unit that has 50 minerals.
Losing a lot of mutas for that tank, but does manage to pick off both of them with some pretty good micro. Terran able to get his natural up behind us though, so going to be, well, he's not very many SC.
And we're back, folks. We got another one here for you. We got Dragoon currently with a 3-0 lead over George from VT Clan. Neo Sylphid is going to be our 4th map of the day. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
Let's get it.
This is a nice map for ZVP. Hopefully we can see George pick up a map win here.
Yeah, so far it just seems like Dragoon has kind of gotten the better of the build order mind games, I guess. Like the 2-gate went really well for him. The gate expand to start things off really seemed to throw George off. And then right when you expected the aggression from him every single game, throws in a nice little forge fast expand, and all he does is be really annoying with a probe. So,
all right. So we do have Dragoon at 12 and George in bottom right. Just because Lise decided to talk instead of letting me announce the players or announcing them himself. You would think that at some point he would be able to take initiative.
Yeah, I might have forgotten who that was. Very true.
He probably did, to be honest.
Let's just be real.
He's like, man, another day, another apocalypse cast. I don't even know who these people are.
I don't know what to tell you. It's a tough life out here.
Tell me I'm right.
You're pretty right. I'm just like, well, it went from every apocalypse cast was special and I was like super prepared for all of them to you have to tell me the night before that we're doing an apocalypse cast and I don't even care about who the players are. We do see
I tell you to tell Warp Gates that we're doing a cast and you just like don't for like 4 days, and then he messaged me and I'm like, am I producing the apocalypse matches that are this week? And I was like, did Lise not ask you to do that? And he was like, no. And I'm like,
nope. Lise.
What a guy.
Not the best.
You'd think, guys, you'd think it would be enough that I could arrange all of the players for him and set up all the times and make sure that everything is in a good time zone. He can't even tell the producer. He can't even ask the producer if he's available.
I would just appreciate it if I was shown a little bit of respect around here.
Really? Too bad.
I don't need this self-esteem. I don't need this negativity in my life, man. I don't know what to tell you.
You can either have negativity or you can be alone.
That's a tough choice.
Got him.
Go with alone.
All right. I guess I'm going to solo cast the rest of this.
Have fun, guys.
Warp Gates probably has you muted anyways, so, you know.
He really probably should, to be honest. Throw up your trashes in chat if you think I should not be casting this.
Well, you can cast it. We should just mute you. Like, I think it's fine to let you cast it. We just not fine to let other people hear you.
It's like handing your little brother the non-plugged in controller, and making him feel like he contributed to you beating the game.
Exactly. That's basically what we do here.
That's pretty much. This is the casting equivalent of that.
All right, a little bit rough on the Lingright micro there from George. Is going to be able to take the Zealot out anyways, but going to be a bit uncomfortable, losing a little bit too many lings, or more lings than he had to at any rate. But Dragoon not putting on that much pressure with the Zealots, just getting his expansion up in good time. We do see George fanning out the lings and looking for Zealots. But if he does decide to go into a lair build off of this, I feel like he'll be in an okay position. I think he only made 10 lings. Or 8 lings. So it's definitely possible to go lair. It's still difficult, though. Like, Protoss's tech is really fast when they go gate first. And it's very difficult to keep that up if you're planning on doing a lair build.
Yeah, and it was not even... Like, there's some gate first builds where you get a ton of Zealots and slow down your tech relatively to try and continue the pressure. But this was not one of those. Like, he made, I want to say 2 Zealots, and then he was just like, all right, I'm just going to get my forge down at home. I'm going to tech up and do everything right on time. This Zealot, this is the bravest Zealot I've ever seen in my life.
I mean, he can't turn around now.
He can't. He's got to get the scouting for ire. He's got to get the scouting for ire.
All right, and I was wrong. George actually built a lot of lings. So, and we do see he's going to go into a 3-hatch Hydra from here, which I really like. I think that going into lair, that other gate expand game, was a mistake. I think he can go 9-7-3-4, or he can go Hydra Bust with this. Either way, I feel like it's a good play from him.
Yeah, it almost... I don't know too much about Zerg, but I know sometimes you can go for a super low eco bust where you just make a few Hydralisks, pick out the outside wall, and then there's so many Zerglings, because he already has a lot of Zerglings. And then that kind of overwhelms everything else. We'll see if that's, like, knowing George, he'll probably just end up going for a more macro-oriented play. Low eco just seems like something he's not quite as comfortable with. He'd rather play things out in a long game. But with how many lings he made, I think it could be strong.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Dragoon doesn't seem that great at blocking his walls either. So I don't know if George noticed that in previous games. Right now he's just floating a lot of money though. And I'm not really sure why.
We got a lot of Zealots pushing out here, trying to put on some pressure. Let's see if he's able to... This is the thing with gate expand, is it seems like you really have to continue putting on the pressure so you can scout. If they do end up going for a Hydra Bust or something, your Corsair, of course, is not going to quite be there in time to see everything. So you really need to continue moving Zealots out and try and get as much information as possible.
Right, so he is able to put some damage on those Zealots with the Lings. And it looks like he's just building more Lings. Alright, he has a lot of Speedlings right now. I really hope he attacks with this instead of just not attacking with them.
Those are the two options. You are correct. I really hope he does.
I feel like attacking is the way to go here.
I'm
like build like you were saying, like build like 4 Hydras and just go kill him.
And he doesn't have the wall. He doesn't have the wall. Oh my gosh. He's making me pull out the hype voice when I'm not ready to be hype yet. But we've got this DT could actually be the greatest thing to ever happen to Dragoon. If he just puts it on hold position here, and George thinks that he has an opportunity to bust because he doesn't see the guy in the middle.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That would actually be just the most tilting thing until you go and watch the replay and you're like, oh, there was a DT there.
All right,
yeah, he's got a lot of stuff.
He does have a lot of stuff, and he's definitely going to need more cannons to stop this. But I don't know if they're going to be in time. As long as he moves the Overlord close enough that he can see the DT. Oh, I think moving the DT out was actually a mistake. Yeah, George just needs to be aggressive here. Like, he can bust him. He can kill him. So he needs to not let that cannon go up. And the Lings can flood in right now. Except they're not.
Go.
I don't know what
Lord,
he's doing.
What are you doing?
Okay.
Okay, it took a little bit. He was up at home.
Yeah. Just making sure he's macroing up. Of course, very important. Looks like we have an Archon and 2 DTs, so hopefully he brings that Overlord up and recognizes that there's a DT. And he should be able to get rid of that last DT and then kill off these probes and just rally Hydras. This is what Protoss hates, right?
I mean, Protoss hates. I hate everything. To be honest,
I feel like
they call me the Artosis of the mindset and the tasteless of the charisma.
Who am I then?
You're the opposite. Like we have our own thing going on here. You've got the knowledge. I don't know. I feel like saying the opposite makes it sound like you're bad, so I'm just going to stop talking.
All right.
But yeah, he's just going to rally Hydras, and it's going to be really, really tough. There's no way he can ever make Storm.
Right,
so
and
he's going to get outproduced.
Yeah, and he lost so many probes when he tried to probe drill the first Hydras. So this then becomes very difficult for Protoss to ever stop this. And you see he's making Templars behind this, but like Zerg can just snipe them with the Hydras before they ever get the 75 energy they need to cast Storm. And I mean, George is just going to outproduce him anyways in this situation. So
yeah,
looks like we're going to have. Oh, okay. One Storm got off. It killed 2 Hydras. I'm really worried about it.
I'm pretty stressed. It's funny. Like, you can see how so low eco this is by the fact that George is still down on supply while he's winning the game right now, and there's no other units. But he
did allow a rally of Zealots to get out. He allowed a rally of Zealots to get out. George is like, he doesn't have his Hydras rallied to the natural. He has them rallied like behind the natural. So that's just a little bit of a thing that Zerg can do. Like, once you push into their natural, you should really have your Hydras rallied to their natural. Because if you rally them back and you aren't fighting with all your units, it's actually really, really bad for Zerg to not be fighting with all of your units. It is crucial for Zerg to be fighting with their units, especially when they have a unit advantage, because having more units left over when you're busting is really important. You want to win the fight exponentially, not marginally.
All right, Tim. All right, I feel it.
Yeah.
The only thing that's getting me right now, I wish he would just take out the Nexus and like 100% guarantee that he's going to have a really good lead no matter what. Whereas he's leaving like one Hydralisk there and trying to push in with the rest of them, you know? Like, it's going to end up working out for him. The Nexus does go down and he's got more Hydralisk rallied. But just a little scary, it felt like. There was a point there where I thought he could hold. Dragoon could possibly hold. Right.
I mean, technically Dragoon still has a lot of production with all those gateways, even though Zerg did manage to take one out. But he's starting to become broke. At this point, if you look at Protoss's money. So this is just going to be a micro battle. For now. With one probe. I'm not sure what the probe is doing, but he's hanging out.
Yeah, this is where you just pull every single probe and hope for the godliest probe drill of all time, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of true. The other thing that kind of confused me about what Dragoon is doing is the fact that he built Templar instead of Zealots. I feel like at this point when you're dying, Speed Zealots are the best thing to be building. Mm-hmm. Actually not Templar, because it takes Templar time to be good. Right?
Yeah. And when you have a limited amount of Zealots, you also necessarily need to have a limited amount of Templars. Like, if you have 4 Zealots, 4 Templars, the Templars aren't any good. They're just going to get sniped. And every Zealot you build or every Templar you build could have been a Zealot. It's almost like the larva production problem for Zerg, but just not nearly as annoying.
Right. Okay, so Protoss gonna come and push out with this army. Definitely needs to do a lot of damage with it if he's planning on getting back in the game. Kind of just wasting his storms though. And looks like George is not going to get a Templar because it gets morphed into an Archon. So managing to save that unit there, pretty good by Dragoon. George floating a lot of money right now, though. Definitely missed his window. He needs to add hatcheries. He didn't add his 5th hatchery. I think that's his problem. And Dragoon to retake his natural behind this. And now this is difficult for Zerg because Zerg really doesn't have very many drones. And like fighting zealots with hydras, like pure speed zealot, is actually really difficult. So I feel like Zerg needs to actually turtle here. Like I don't know about this, like these hydras trying to snipe the Templar. I mean, I guess it is annoying and slowing Protoss down. It looks like he's just gonna run Lings by, and try and get back into the natural. I think that's the plan, or at least for scouting.
Right. I just think the longer this game goes on, the better. Like, he's trying to delay. The longer the game goes on, the better it gets for George. But he's just not going to have enough time. He's not going to have enough time. This Zealot, Archon, some Templar army is just going to roll over what George has left. And that's got to be super demoralizing if this ends up going well for Dragoon. Like,
yeah,
you
and
literally busted him.
Yeah. He just didn't like quite execute the end of the bust well. Protoss held on. And then came across. Yeah, GG is called.
That's right. So crazy.
Yeah, very difficult game for George. I think if he had spent his money better in mid game, and like you were saying, like just target down the Nexus. If he's trying that hard to stay in the game, just target down the Nexus and drone. Maybe. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. I don't even know. 9-0 still on the table. It's possible. I'm gonna call it way too early. But dude, that's like I said, that's just gotta be so demoralizing. That's gotta be so demoralizing if you lose that game.
Right. And I mean, we're really seeing like Dragoon prepped really hard for this. I know George played some games with Tim, but I haven't seen him online practicing as much as I know Dragoon's been practicing. So I think the prep really paying off for him here as well. Our next map going to be Clayfields, of course, and we're jumping right into that game. Would you like to do the honors list?
I would love to. In the top left corner, we have our yellow Protoss player, Dragoon. And in the top right corner, we have our red Zerg player, George.
All right. I just thought I'd let you go for it.
I appreciate it.
I gotta let you have one.
The most important thing is you gotta interrupt me before I start talking about something else so that we actually do interrupt the players.
Yeah, I noticed that when we did the countdown this time, you stopped talking. So I wanted to reward your good behavior.
I appreciate that. That's so nice of you. Wow. You know what I want to see?
Speedlings? Because that's what I want to see.
Pool. I know it's not gonna happen this game. But if you're a Zerg and you're playing a best of 9 and you don't 5 pool at least once, what are you even playing Zerg for? What's even the point? It's just, if you don't have Zealots flooding into their base at 1 minute 30 seconds, or whenever the heck Zerglings actually come in off of 5 pool, I don't know what to tell you. We do see it's a possibility Dragoon going, he's just going for a Forge, going for a little bit of a more economical play, not scouting until he puts the Forge down.
Right.
And this is actually something I don't really mess around with it because I'm too soft for that. Like, I'm too scared. But, it's just, I saw Models do it a couple times on his stream, and it's just so strong. Like, your whole build is accelerated by like 10-15 seconds.
Yeah, it looks like they're going 12 hatch or 11 hatch. I wasn't watching. Looks like it was 12 hatch to me. Oh no, he put the pull down. It was 11 hatch. I'm wrong. I'm trying, guys.
You're trying your best. That's what's important. And Dragoon gonna scout last, or well, he's gonna get there relatively late. So we'll see if he's gonna be forced to put this cannon down. We'll see. Like, I genuinely don't know. Do you cancel the cannon once you see that it's hatched first, or do you just like go into everything else and just be like, well, I guess I'm just a little bit behind?
Do you? I don't know why you expect me to know the answer to this as Protoss.
No, I'm just interested to see what Dragoon does. I'm not asking you. It's the rhetorical question here. It's the rhetorical question. That's a casting. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. The cannon finishes. He's clearly, Dragoon might as well GG right now. Like, there's no point in continuing to play.
What I want to know is if he's going to cannon rush the third base. Because I think he's going to. I can see this probe. Like, yeah, this is, J1 used to do this to me. Or he did it to me a couple times last CPL. Just to make sure that I always put an overlord over my third hatch. Like, this is something that can happen to Zerg if they don't check here. But it looks like he's going to check with the Lynx. Hopefully he does scout it. And he is going to be able to see that. And then this becomes a bad investment for Protoss. So George should be feeling pretty good about finding this.
Yeah, 100 minerals for free. Generally not the best investment.
Right. So, I mean, he definitely lost his eco advantage from the no scout thing or whatever you were talking about.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. I'm definitely with you on that. And now George, like, it's way too early to say, but George getting a little bit of the better of the early game. Yeah, I'm going to, of course. That's what I do. I start with the disclaimer, and then I immediately ignore the fact that I disclaimed and go into it anyways.
Right. So too many words, basically, is what you're saying. You're going to use too many words. Wow. Did I rob you of words by saying that you use too many words? Like, that was incredible. I feel like I have so much power now.
You just have to roast me just enough that I'm lost for words. I don't know what else to say. Say. But
this is Spireless.
Oh, he's going for the sulky build. I just hope it works out for him. Like, if we get the quick 5-0,
it will be a sad day.
It'll be a sad day. It really will. And once the series is out of hand, once you know you've already lost, it's really hard to try and put on good games for the rest of them as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, what's the better score, right?
Yeah, exactly.
4-0 or 5-0?
Is it better to be down 4-0, or is it better to have lost the series? I'm not sure. You can't really tell.
Look,
there's no
math
way.
Math is hard. I can't blame you for this. It's difficult. I like this push though. I like this bust. Okay, we're not gonna look at the links, but they are gonna go into the base.
And that's a lot of links.
Oh, looks like he was going for a fast robo. I feel like he's just gonna die to Hydras. I don't know.
Fast robo is pretty good against Hydras though, right?
I don't know. It depends on if the Reaver gets out in time. I'm not sure how long it takes for the Reaver to get out. I guess it probably is in time.
I don't know what he saw that made him want to go fast robo though. This is so
maybe
weird.
he just wants to go fast robo. Like, I feel like if we sit here and try and like deduce what's going on in Dragoon's builds, we're just not going to get anywhere with it.
You're right.
Yeah.
We just gotta let him do his thing.
This is the man of like not builds. He builds units really good.
He builds units really good. That's the play.
Yeah, he builds units good, guys. That's basically what Protoss does, right? You just like build stuff and go.
Yeah. We do have models in the chat saying it could be looks like a fast DT drop build, and that makes a lot of sense, but
he's getting a robo though. Maybe now that he's
getting a support bay.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, robotic support bay.
Should stop looking at chat and actually look at the game, but that's just not really my style, you know. My style is really not paying any attention to the game and just say stuff.
I got you some ZVP so that you could pay attention to the game and not the chat, and you're still watching the chat. Why do I have to do all the work? Oh my god.
The power, the feeling of being a Twitch celebrity is just too intoxicating.
I have to remind you that the only reason that you have viewers is because me and Warp Gates set up these matches for you to cast. Okay?
First of all, saying Warp Gates helped set these up is a little bit disingenuous. I just want to throw that out there.
He does all of the Twitch. He set the stream up.
He said, I wake up 15 minutes before the cast and hit go live. Warp Gates knows. He knows. All right.
Okay. I hate both of you. New take.
We're going back to the game here. I don't know
what
Dragoon is doing. He's going for those fast Reavers because Reavers are fun. And that's pretty much what I've decided his thought process is.
I feel like that's fair. I don't disagree with you by any means. We do see George getting the scout off, just kind of making sure of what Dragoon's doing. Gonna keep one lay over here to try and deny the third base for Protoss. His map vision was a little bit difficult there for a second, but Protoss never moved out, so his map vision is a little bit better now. And hopefully he's able to keep that up. And it looks like we're going to go for a Spire behind this and get Scourge out, which is definitely important when you see that Protoss has gone for a Robo, because as you mentioned earlier, they can drop, whether it is a Reaver drop. Like, Reavers are pretty useless without a shuttle, to be honest, so.
Right, yeah, they're only really good defensively. Like, for example, in holding a Hydra bus, something like that, because they do get out faster than... But he does have the shuttle. They do get out faster than Templar, is what I was trying to say.
Right.
Looks like he's going to go for some harassment here. We'll see how well George is able to spread everything out and defend. You can see he's got Hydras everywhere in the main. He's got Hydras looking everywhere at the third as well.
He knows, guys. This is the man that knows.
Yeah, he knows that some kind of harassment is coming up, and he's like, all right. Because that's the power of getting those lings in there. He was able to see everything. He was like,
to do something that's funky, right?
Exactly. This is totally I'm going to mess around a little bit and I'm up 4-0 kind of build. But as soon as you scout it, it's like, okay, this is much less good now.
Okay, it does lose the shuttle and the Reaver. He has a DT down here that he managed to get out, and George doesn't have an Overlord, so he's going to need to bring an Overlord over ASCP to be able to get down his fourth base. Both players floating a lot of money right now. Dragoon going to go ahead and take a third behind this. His drop didn't do very much, but of course George now has to be scared of Reavers and drops for the rest of this game. So we're probably going to see him keep a decent amount of units in his main, and probably an Overlord as well. And we'll see how his... It looks to me like George is going to be able to get himself into a macro game. It kind of concerns me that Protoss' third base is going to finish just as George starts his fourth. But we'll see what happens.
Right, and it wouldn't have been quite as bad. Even though that drop didn't do anything, it didn't do much. It did crucially pick off the drone that was headed down there to make the fourth base. So that delayed it.
It
was already... It didn't?
It didn't pick off the drone, no.
Are you
It
kidding me?
delayed it, but the drone didn't die. Yeah. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I just should stop talking, dude. Chad is gonna destroy me right now.
Yeah, true.
It's what I do. It's what I deserve. It's what I deserve. I could have sworn. It's fine. Whatever. George is getting into a macro game. He's floating a lot of minerals. You talked about a couple series ago how hard it is to balance gas and minerals as Zerg, and I feel like we've seen that a lot this series coming out of George. Like, he's floating 1,500 minerals, but he does not have any gas.
It's because he went muted.
Jesus Christ, dude.
But I mean, that's kind of the thing is, like, you get your third gas kind of before you build your mutas or your lurkers. And then kind of the goal here for Zerg is that you use that banked gas all at once to get your mutas or your lurkers. And it looks like he's got this cute little lurker egg trick at his 4th base, so he's going to be able to keep that up. And it looks like Zerg's going to get himself into a macro game. He actually didn't lose any of the mutas either, so he can continue to pick off High Templar, which I think is a really strong move. And actually just harass the army as well if he wanted. I think he's hunting for High Templar here. There we go, he's going to find a couple.
Yeah, seriously, this is the most frustrating thing as a Protoss player. You just come in. I know there's a lot more skill involved than it seems like, or than I'm going to make it seem like, but it feels like as a Protoss player, he just comes in, right-clicks on your Templars, and then leaves. And then they're like, oh, crap. That sucks.
Right. I mean, he lost his Corsairs early on, which is part of the problem here for Dragoon.
Yeah, totally.
All right, we do have the one lurker here, going to do a ton of damage on these zealots because Protoss doesn't have an observer. But he is able to run zealots into the main behind this. But I think there are Hydras in the main that we're defending for the drops. George definitely needs to burrow these lurkers, otherwise he's going to be in trouble. Protoss doing the thing where they just like run by all your stuff, which I think is really annoying. But George had stuff in his main because he was defending for drops, so looks like he's going to be in a good position. Still floating a lot of money, but going to be able to clean up the rest of this army of Dragoon with his Ling, Hydra, Muta Lurker. So it's just basically getting all the good stuff here.
He's throwing the kitchen sink at Dragoon here a little bit. How does this feel as a Zerg player in this position? You held the big 2-0 push, 3-0 push now, and you've got your 4 bases up. Do you feel pretty confident in this situation, even though he's got a 3rd base, or do you really feel like you need 5 bases here?
I mean, I think he can he should be taking his 5th base. So, I mean, I guess if he can trap this army and kill it, I feel like he'll be in a really good position. I don't know about sending these Lings across the map. I feel like that is actually a bad decision. But I guess he can try and deny the 4th while he defeats this army. Dragoon kind of like roaming around the map without an observer. As Tim said once to me as we were prepping for the coaching session of the Ash and Bojack series, which if you guys didn't check it out, you should definitely check out that coaching series by Keenan and Tim. It was really, really good. If you want to know how to beat 3-Hatch Hydra, go watch that stream. He said something to me while we were prepping it, and it was like, and we were talking about like amount of units, and then he was like, and there's other factors too, of course. Like, if you don't have any observers, your supply is just 0. And I was like, oh, okay.
Very true.
Your supply just cancels out. If you don't have observers, your supply is 0. And I was like, oh, okay. I see.
Matter. And that's why picking off observers can be so frustrating for the Protoss player. It's just like, it's such a slow unit. It's such a weak unit. They come in, and again, it's one of those things where it takes a lot of skill, but as a Protoss player, you're just like, they're just right-clicking on my observers and then leaving.
Right. I mean, it's just like you have to position your army better.
Yeah, you have to position your army better, for sure. But while we were jabbering, George delays the 4th base from Dragoon, kills an army of Dragoons, and so he's going to be able to take his 5th base while Dragoon is putting up his 4th base, and he's on Hive Tech. So I feel like George is in a really good spot right now, actually.
So he's gonna storm with some probes. Okay. Can we just take a moment to appreciate George's map vision? Look at this.
This
it's beautiful.
Is so beautiful, actually.
Look at this. This is amazing.
Everything. The only thing you can't see is directly inside Dragoon's base because he doesn't have map hacks like Terran.
Right,
That's
exactly.
Literally it.
Just in case you guys were curious, Zerg is not Terran. This is the quality content that we bring you guys here.
This is my captain. I have decided to say only things that I know for a fact are correct. So I'm going to say a lot of dumb stuff like that.
Well, it's not wrong. Technically, you're not wrong.
Exactly.
This is what we're going for here. We're going for
100%
not wrong.
correct.
Yeah. All right, Dragoon going to approach a maxed out army, but Zerg, of course, as you were saying, I think he has Hive Tech out, right?
Yeah.
And this army doesn't have Archons and it doesn't have Reavers, so it makes me a little bit worried for Protoss. But we'll see what he's able to do on 4 bases. If Dragoon gets up bottom left and he's able to take both of those bases, I feel like he'll be in a very good position. But the 12 o'clock right-hand base and the 6 o'clock right-hand base are both kind of George's for the taking if he so chooses to. And I actually wouldn't be opposed to seeing him take them right now.
Oh my gosh. George's... And the thing with getting map vision with Lings, I'm just going to go back to this real quick. Like, when I spread out my observers in PvT, different matchup I know, as soon as they push out, my observers die, and then I never get that map vision back. He's constantly spreading out Lings to make sure that he has constant map vision. He's not just letting them die and then immediately leaving them.
Yeah, that's very true. He definitely... I mean, I feel like we're definitely seeing this is like George's game that we're playing right now. He got to get his 4th base up, he got to get his Hive Tech out, and now he gets to play a macro game. And I feel like this is the true test here, because this is what he's most comfortable with. Counterattack not going to work out for him. Definitely a lot of lurkers here. We're going to have to see how patiently Dragoon engages this army. He does have a ton of Storm. And George is going to want to bring up a flank here. Looks like he has a bunch of mutas. The storms have already been cast, so I don't know how useful these mutas will be. But as he sits across on top of the army, Dragoon decides to storm, as he just did. He is actually storming his own units as well as the Zerg units.
And now we've just got a lot of Dragoons left, pretty much by themselves, which, as you're going to see here, Cracklings just wipe the floor with straight Dragoon army.
Right, exactly. I mean, this is the kind of thing that we were talking about. Dragoon not having a anti-Hive Tech composition, and instead just having a regular composition. Oh, he manages to find all those Templars, which is really good. Of course, Dragoon with a huge bank is going to be able to remax relatively quickly, but he doesn't have bottom left yet, which means that this is still really good for Zerg, or okay for Zerg. Not really good for Zerg, because if you look at the supply difference, Dragoon's definitely got a big supply lead.
Yeah, I think I watched a Zero video a while back that was like, if you're on Hive Tech and you're up a base, you're in a pretty good spot. You're not going to win the game necessarily right away, but you don't have to stress about it.
Right. I like the 2 Zealot block that Dragoon is putting on his ramps here. I mean, this is one thing about Clayfields, is that all of your bases basically have ramps, unless you take another natural. And I feel like that 2 Zealot block on the 1 ramp is actually just a really smart way for Protoss to prevent Zerg.
What is happening in the main? What is happening in the main?
Oh my goodness. Oh my god. He recalled.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. I completely missed that. I completely missed Dragoon even getting this tech. So here's the question. How fast does George rebuild this tech? And how fast? And will he lose his hive?
Oh my god.
Wow. Okay.
And Dragoon just staying maxed here. He could lose all these units, and like you said, he's got such a big bank that he's just going to instantly remax.
All right, Dragoon definitely bringing his off-brand style even in a macro game. George rebuilding the Queen's Nest. Looks like he's going to want to rebuild his hive. I'm not sure what upgrade he's missing. I guess he might need it for more upgrades. I'm not sure. All right, yeah, he's going to rebuild his hive. All right, he is going to manage to clean up this army, but like you said before, huge bank for Dragoon. So he is going to be able to go ahead and remax almost instantly. And George, I feel like his macro is slipping a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely feels that way. He's floating 1800, and he's still got plenty of supply left to fill up. So it's not the same situation as Dragoon. And Dragoon's slowly starting to get this anti-hive composition. He's got like 4 Archons with his army. He's putting, I believe, he should be putting down at least Robos at his expansions so that he can get Reavers.
Right.
Yeah, he does have Reavers at his expansions.
Is there gonna take that bottom, like 6 o'clock, the right hand 6 o'clock location? I wish he would take the right hand 12 o'clock location at the same time. He has so much money that I feel like it's just really important for him to. Okay, his army just taking a ton of free damage from these lurkers, but gonna go ahead and move around. Oh, those lings they might have been able to cancel the Nexus. Wait, what was that dead hatchery that we just looked at?
That was the main.
Was that the main? Okay. I was like, wait, because for a second I thought it was bottom right, and I thought we'd like missed another recall, and I was like, oh my god, what's happening?
The worst produced series of all time. Recalls everywhere, don't see any of them.
Casters just don't know what's going on ever.
Yeah, no,
I mean, that's basically what we do anyways, but you know.
99% of the time I have no idea what's happening.
Same. Can confirm.
But that recall really turned the game on its head. Dragoon snipes pretty much all of the tech for Zerg, and it distracted the Zerg long enough so that he was able to take a 5th base and secure it. So really a really strong position for Dragoon, and I should say really one less time in that sense.
Yeah, really, guys. really. In case you guys were curious, really.
Okay. There's so much bank. There's another recall. Warp Gates is on it. He's on it.
He's on it, guys. He's here.
Did he recall an observer though? That's the true test of skill.
Did he recall an observer? Yeah, I mean, losing his tech for the second time, definitely not a strong look for George. And like I said, he never took that upper 12 location. So I feel like that's tricky. I like this counter.
This is a really strong counter. If you can get on top of the production, it doesn't matter how much or how many times you take out the Protoss tech. If they just can't build units, you win the game.
Right. Oh, losing all the Scourge to the Archons. Definitely unfortunate. But Dragoon does manage to bring his army back, and he is going to be able to clean up the small counterattack. And George just running really low on units now, and he's barely mining at this point because that 5th base was actually really important for him to keep up. And I feel like he's just super low on drones, to be honest. And I'm just not feeling very good about Zerg's position in this game now.
Yeah, really, what is he?
And he's not spending his money.
Bases. He doesn't really have any tech, and Protoss is like it's
running wild.
Equal mining bases. It's equal mining bases. That's never ever a good sign for the Zerg. And it looks like this 6th base is going to get taken out as well. Archon's just absolutely Small
Yeah,
link
nice
counterattack
counterattack.
can get cleaned up easily, though.
Right. He kind of piecemeals his units in a little bit, and he's not bringing defilers with them. And I feel like, yeah, GG is called from George. And he's going to tap out. And we have a 5-0 victory from Dragoon. Definitely not what I think people were expecting to see, based on what people were telling me when I set up this match. But wow, very good job from Dragoon. Nice to see that I feel like he's really cleaned up his PVZ in general this CPL. So definitely kudos to him.
Yeah, super impressive play. He's making Protoss proud.
Making Protoss look OP.
Didn't want to say it, but you're totally right. He's making Protoss look broken.
That was a long game. Okay, they're gonna go straight into the next game. I thought one of the players might call for a break after that game, but looks like maybe they're going straight into the next one. I'm not sure. Anyways, the next map is going to be Eddie. So I kind of just had my wish. I had a big macro game, but this is our big macro map. So what are we going to see on here?
So clearly, big macro map. It's time to pull out the 5 pool. Am I right?
I'm going to be so sad. We do have our Zerg player, George, in the red in the bottom left. And we do have our Protoss player, Dragoon, in the yellow in the bottom right.
All right.
Oh, thank goodness.
It's 5-0. Dragoon has won the series. What do you do here as George? Like, do you play standard a bunch and just say, all right, I'm going to get some really good replays out of this at least? Do you cheese, try and mix it up, try and get some wins for pride? How would you approach this, Strom?
How would I approach it? I don't know. I mean, what I was going to say is it's George. He's going to play standard, but you just took that away from me. So after that macro game, I would probably play standard builds, but all in. Like, from what I've seen from Dragoon, like, and I don't know if George is paying attention to this as he's playing, but he's macroing really well. But he's not got really clean stuff. So I feel like a really sharp Hydra timing is something that could kill him. Or like a Ling all-in is something that could kill him. This is just kind of how I'm feeling about overall, like, as a player. His situation. Like, I feel like you can play standard builds and then all-in. Like, I don't think you have to, like, 5 pool. Right. But I feel like you have to... I feel like relying on sharp timings and then kill him. Because it seems like when George goes into a macro game, he's being out-macroed a little bit.
And we do see a 9 pool versus a gate first. This is pretty strong for 9 pool, right?
I think so. I mean, it's 9 pool, no gas. So he's going to have his Lings early, and I feel like he can, at the very least, force Protoss to stay home. If Dragoon's not used to dealing with 9 pool, no gas, he could also just kill him. But we'll see what he decides to do with his first zealot. George chasing the probe is... Okay, he's going to not do it. I was like, chasing the probe isn't the play here. Is he chasing the probe, really?
He's chasing the probe.
Why is he chasing the probe? Okay.
Oh, we got a Keen telling us that 9 pool is in fact bad versus gate first. So...
Oh, I see.
Apparently, I am just bad. I think, yeah, like, my memories of 9 pool versus gate first, I'm just like, oh, I just died as Zerglings, but I'm probably just bad. So...
yeah, I mean, that's kind of like, I feel like you want to get there ASAP with the Lings. So
what is happening? He's pulling 5.
He's gonna try and kill him. He's gonna try.
Such a baller play. He's not even going for 2 gate. We got the counter attack here from George, which I think is a really smart play. If you can take out this pylon, it's all just a game of can you hold.
Right. I feel like, okay, it looks like he is putting a sunk down, which I definitely like, and it's definitely something that he needs to do. But the micro relay is happening in Protoss' base right now. Oh, he just canceled. He canceled his natural hatchery.
Oh my gosh! And this
I don't know why he did that.
That just seems absolutely crucial.
This is a very weird game. There's just like 5 probes walking around the map.
I don't know what's going on.
There's a bunch of lings, and then the natural got canceled for Zerg.
I'm just gonna start pulling this out on ladder, man.
The 5 probes, the 6
You
probes.
think you're safe? Joke's on you. I'm pulling 6 probes, man. Oh my gosh. And he does get his expansion down. He's got his forge up, so he's gonna be relatively safe for the time being.
Look, George can just take this fight. Okay. He just like, I feel like he seems a little bit too scared sometimes with his lings. I hope he comes in here and actually puts pressure on with the lings. He can just attack the gateway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the very least, force Dragoon to micro. Force him to get out here, be a little scared. This is truly the toughest part of Gate First, is when they have zealots attacking you and or when they have Zerglings attacking you and the cannon's not quite done.
Right. And he does manage to get rid of that cannon. Looks like the lings are kind of stuck halfway across the map. Looks like he's going to bring them up now. I'm not sure if the plan here for George is to rally lings. I feel like canceling that second hatchery actually might cost him this game. Because if he had 2 hatcheries worth of production behind this, like this whole time, I feel like he could have actually taken this out.
Yeah, totally. If he had just rallied lings off 2 hatcheries instead of 1, this cannon, he still doesn't have a cannon. I guess he has a cannon in the main now. And there's a decent amount of zealots, but 2 hatchery worth of Zerglings. That's a lot of Zerglings.
It is. And it looks like Dragoon is going to go ahead and move out. George going 2 hatch Hydra behind this. Definitely looking to kill him. So kind of playing the way that I was saying, like maybe aggression is really the key. I'm not sure where he's going with his lings though. Okay, looks like he's going to do a backstab. Which I like. There's only 1 zealot there. As long as he brings all the lings in together, I feel like he should be in a good position.
Looks like he's going to be able to take out this cannon, but not do much more. The zealot's going to be able to clean most everything up. And being as there's a cannon in the main, the Zergling's not even going to get the chance to be annoying in the probe line.
Right. Oh, nice zoom out from warp gates here. We do have 4 zealots coming into Zerg's base, but Zerg going to counterattack the natural. But of course, the gateway production pretty good for Protoss. Okay, George, GG's. I feel like he still had a shot at that, actually. I think that was a premature GG, because he does have a sunk in his main here. And if he can kill both those zealots and then kill the probes and the pylon that the gateway's on, Dragoon can no longer make any more units. And then I feel like you can actually... like there is a possibility to just kill Protoss with lings.
I don't know though, because then doesn't it just turn into 1 base Zerg versus 1 base Protoss? Like I know that
I guess there's a cannon in the main, so it's really tricky.
There's a cannon in the main, exactly.
Right. Oh, I think we're taking a break now because that was game 6. So our next map is going to be Fighting Spirit.
The classic.
Am I cursed?
What, with the big macro game thing?
No, with the one-sided series.
You actually, it's been a rough run for the last couple Apocalypse matches, but I believe in you, Strom. You can come back.
I'm not feeling so hot about the one on Thursday either, though. So like, as far as one-sidedness goes, I'm concerned.
I think it's actually a matter of it goes in the opposite direction of the way you think it's going to go. So if you feel bad about it, that's actually a good sign. It's going to be like a 5-4. I guarantee it.
Well, I hope you're right.
With all that said, we're going to go into a quick break. We'll be right back, folks. Don't go away. So that he doesn't have to do too much more micro with the Corsairs.
Looks like it will to me. He's got enough time to get both stairs to the cannons and the natural, and that cannon will finish by the time the next stair is done.
And we're seeing him just go for a nice 730. We should see him push out any moment here. we do have Bojack with building Hydras that should be enough to hold just fine.
Nice build here by Ashen. Looks like he's hitting it pretty well, actually. Both players are hitting their builds pretty well right now, I think.
Agreed. The only thing I would like to see from Ashen, from a Protoss perspective, is you can feel free to push out at like 7-10, and then your upgrades finish like right as you get to the Zerg base. But such a small thing doesn't matter too much.
Yeah, I think that Bojack actually has enough to drive this back anyways, so hopefully Ashen's got Storm on the way and he'll be able to hold the 5-hatch Hydra counter. The one thing by Bojack that I don't really like is the Sin City at his third base. It just doesn't look like a very nice wall to me. You can easily get around that, just walk up the ramp and go around the right-hand side and get into the drone line.
Right, yeah.
Alright, gonna just go ahead and pick off a couple links and go home. Lots of Hydras out at both bases, so we're going to, hope he goes home with those. Oh, he's just gonna fight. Okay, drive some of the Hydras back a little bit. Okay, now I hope he goes home. Go home.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely not worth it. It buys him a little bit of time just in case he didn't have Storm up. Does look like he's going to go for an 8-gate here.
Alright, I guess we're going to see from... That's good. I hope he has Storm. He needs to throw down a couple more cannons, actually, because it's definitely a lot of Hydras from Bojack. I'm not sure, like, you can actually go for a 5-hatch Hydra bust out of this build, so I guess we're going to see if Bojack decides to do that, or if he decides to drone behind this. Does look like he's going to drone. Yeah.
Right, maybe that's something we'll see later on in the game. Or later on in the series, I mean.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's definitely a good idea to bring it out at some point. It definitely feels like both players are just kind of feeling the map out, or feeling the player out. I don't think they've played each other for a long time. And this map, especially for Zerg, is really a great map to play a macro game on, because it is a 3-player map. So, like Bojack was saying in the interview, guys, if you don't know a lot about PvZ, for Zerg, you generally feel more comfortable if you're up a couple bases on Protoss. So basically, in the early game, Zerg has a little bit of a little bit more initiative than Protoss in the matchup, because they can do things like Hydra Bust or Ling All In while Protoss is in the dark. Then, for the 2-0 push that Protoss can do, the favor kind of shifts a little bit back onto them, because 2-0 Protoss, that push is definitely very difficult to stop. You have to macro really well as Zerg and build a lot of drones. But then, if you manage to actually split the map in half... Alright, Ashen really wanting one of these overlords here.
This is just really nice. This is just really nice from Protoss. Even if you don't wind up getting an overlord, you tax your opponent's APM, and this matchup is really such a multitasking battle that if you feel like you have an advantage in APM, spend every second trying to annoy the Zerg and try and get him to move units around and things like that.
Alright, looks like Ashen's going to go ahead and try and break out of this contain before it kind of started. Hopefully...
Nice Storm on 2 lurkers.
Yeah, and they were pretty split up as well, and he still managed to get them on both lurkers. I think his observers are not quite out yet, but just kind of actually disintegrating this army with Storm. Looks like Ashen getting ready for a very strong 2-0 push. I think hopefully he's macroing well behind it. He does have about 120 to 73 supply blocked Zerg behind this. And as Relentless is showing us, Zerg's actually trying to go into Hive behind this. I actually think this was a mistake. Generally, if Protoss is on 2 base, you want to wait till they take their third until you start to tech up, because if Ashen actually pushes right now, which I'm not sure if he's going to do, because he might not sense it, but it's actually, you're putting so many resources into trying to tech up that Ashen can actually just go kill him right now, because he doesn't have enough lurkers. You actually need to put all of your gas and all of your minerals into Hydra Lurker to hold a well-macroed 2-0 push from 2 base Protoss.
Yeah, and it's you can see it in the supplies. I mean, he's almost 50 supply up. Ashen is. Bojack just now getting his 4th down. He's trying really hard to go to hives. I'm surprised that Ashen isn't pushing right now. He's got a decent sized army. He's got his 2-0 upgrades, I believe. He is doing some decent work with these Corsairs. He's keeping them alive very well, and he's doing some damage where he can.
Yeah, I guess the thing that really surprises me is that he can see that Bojack has not enough units to hold his push, like not enough lurkers, and yet he's still kind of holding back. So, being offensive with lurkers is really difficult.
Yeah,
actually, I think he's going to bleed some units for free here. Oh, 6th Storm! Really nice Storm there from Ashen. Oh, now all the lurkers are all clumped up. Man, everything kind of going wrong here for Bojack. Storm's hitting really well. And we just saw Zerg plummet to 72 supply to a 140 supply Protoss. This 2-0 push looking really strong from Ashen.
And Ashen, just go kill him, man. Go kill him. I will unapologetically root for the Protoss here.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like the underdog story too a little bit, and he is on IRK, and he is on my CPL team, so I can't pretend that I'm not rooting for Protoss a little bit. But
the thing with these tier 2 matchups, especially like this is our first one, but I'm sure we'll have some in the future. They have less experience with show matches, so I'm sure Ashen would be he would hate to have to push and then get this held, and then have to go into game 2 being like, oh, this guy doesn't know how to 2-0 push or whatever, you know. So he's a little bit nervous about it, but he just has enough stuff to win it right now.
Yeah, really strong push from Ashen. Really nice scouting with the Corsairs throughout the entire game, I think. Zerg's pretty dead at this point. Yeah, GG as well. I really noticed he's
so that he doesn't have to do too much more micro with the Corsairs.
Looks like it will to me. He's got enough time to get both Stairs to the cannons and the natural, and that cannon will finish by the time the next Stair is done.
And we're seeing Ashen just go for a nice 730. We should see him push out any moment here. We do have Bojack building Hydras that should be enough to hold just fine.
Nice build here by Ashen. Looks like he's hitting it pretty well, actually. Both players are hitting their builds pretty well right now, I think.
Agreed. The only thing I would like to see from Ashen, from a Protoss perspective, is you can feel free to push out at 710, and then your upgrades finish right as you get to the Zerg base. But such a small thing doesn't matter too much.
Yeah, I think that Bojack actually has enough to drive this back anyways, so hopefully Ashen's got Storm on the way and he'll be able to hold the 5-hatch Hydra counter. The one thing by Bojack that I don't really like is the Sin City at his 3rd base. It just doesn't look like a very nice wall to me. You can easily get around that, just walk up the ramp and go around the right-hand side and get into the drone line.
Right, yeah.
Alright, gonna just go ahead and pick off a couple links and go home.
And we're back, folks. We got Pride on the line as Dragoon and George are battling it out in the Apocalypse Showmatch series. Dragoon with a very commanding first 6 games, winning all of them. But George raring to make a comeback. Let's see what he can do on Fighting Spirit.
Surely Zerg can win one game in a ZVP, huh?
You know?
All right. We do have Dragoon, our Protoss player, in the top right. And BT George, our Zerg player, in the upper left-hand corner of Fighting Spirit. Surely for the amount that Protoss complains that Zerg is broken, surely Zerg can win one game in a best of 9.
One game. It's very possible. It's very possible. By the way, my boy Warpgates, you did not update the score, but it's Gucci, my guy.
This just in, at least watching the stream and not the actual game.
Yeah, that's classic least. What do you want from me? What do you want?
Yeah. He's
Just
so
give me
obsessed with
production
the amount of
quality.
people on Twitch. Like, he just can't even watch the game. He's like just incompetent at casting. Like, why are you even here? Like, I don't even know. It's like, for some reason you own the Twitch stream and we just keep letting you come on it instead of like changing the Twitch stream.
Exactly. I feel like someone that was like born into riches. I didn't really do anything to deserve it, but yet.
Well,
I'm
see,
still
the
here.
thing, I will tell you what you did to deserve it. The thing that you did to deserve it was like 730 push me like at least 100 times. February 2019.
That's
When
true.
this all
That's when we really became friends. Was 730 push. My 730 pushes were garbage too. It was like 5 zealots, 2 corsairs,
At
pushing
like
in,
8:30.
and you would still die to it. We were like, "Oh, this is."
I was like, how do you hold this
unfortunate.
Zerg? I was like, I don't know.
It's just not
I should have
possible.
played this game like 2 weeks ago. What's a hotkey, guys?
What is a hotkey? No one knows.
Yeah. So you put lots of hours into that, and now it's paying off for you.
Worth it. George going scout in the middle, making sure no proxy shenanigans on Fighting Spirit.
No shenanigans at all, in fact, though. He is going to go Nexus first against Pool first. I feel like in horizontal positions in Fighting Spirit, you're not supposed to be able to do this. If you build 2 Lings as Zerg off of Overpool, you should be able to just run them by the wall.
Right.
But it looks like he actually built 6 Lings, so I feel like Dragoon might be in trouble here. He's definitely going to have to pro block his wall in order to survive this.
Yeah, and
And it
Cannon
looks like
just
he's green.
morphs so painfully slowly.
Mm-hmm. And this like rush distance for Fighting Spirit.
I don't know.
Right.
What the...
Oh, well, never mind.
It's just up. That's okay.
He
13
made a bit of a
confirmed for
mistake.
safest build ever.
Yeah, I think he didn't send his Lings immediately. Maybe he didn't build them immediately, and he just bled one. This wall also... Isn't there like... I actually don't think he's using that wall. There's like a 1-gap wall for this position, right?
There is a 1-gap wall for this position, but it's really... I don't fault him for going for the 2-gap wall. It's just such a hassle. What the heck is he doing right now?
Oh my goodness. There is a pylon in
just disrespectful. This is the DeWalt status. Goes for gateway and main to make DT and then kill every single drone. Oh, does he see it?
Well,
Yeah.
he sees that it's a Hydra bus, but I don't think he actually saw... Oh, he does see it. Okay.
Oh my gosh. This is so disrespectful.
Okay, interesting. Interesting play by Dragoon. Definitely some aggressive stuff coming out of him. Well, and also an Hydra bus coming out of George. He's floating a lot of money right now again, so I feel like he needs to keep his macro up here. The longer he sits at 17 supply, okay, there he did. He built some units. Dragoon not building cannons right away, though. That was one of the mistakes we saw Ashen make in the Ashen Bojack match, where he built his cannons too soon against 3H Hydra. Dragoon, of course, very good Protoss player, isn't going to be making that mistake. These Lings just going to run by the Zealot, though, unfortunately, and not punish that yet. Oh, he has a lot of Lings.
He does indeed have a lot of links. And with that, every probe kill or every drone kill is going to be absolutely massive.
Yeah. I mean,
Such a
when you
large
have this
portion
many
of your
Lings,
economy.
when you have this many Lings, there's really no excuse to be losing drones to Zealots, right? Like, I don't know. It just seems unfortunate for Zerg.
Yeah, for sure. And we do see Dragoon opting for the 4-gate follow-up, 4-gate speed zealot follow-up, thinking that a Hydra bust is coming. It looks like George actually canceled.
All right, gonna go ahead and engage these zealots since they come across the map. I feel like George could maybe clean up his Ling micro against zealots a little bit. It seems just a little bit sloppy in some places. Seems like he has to build a lot of Lings to be safe against zealots. Probably a lot more than you really want to be building a Zerg.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And Dragoon playing it extra safe, putting down 6 cannons, just making absolutely sure that he's not going to die to this. And then...
It's not coming, though.
It's not coming. It's not coming. Pretty far behind.
This is hatchery, man.
That actually... Oh, never mind. 5 cannons, but still. Still, that's a lot of cannons for a Hydra bust. He canceled the Hydra Den. He didn't even make a single Hydra list. He just now finishes his Hydra Den.
It's funny that he canceled it, because I feel like he could have left it and got the upgrades really fast, but it looks like he's instead going to opt for this, like... Why? I don't know why he's putting creeps down. Oh, well.
Yeah, there's no way Protoss is going to be able to push out anytime soon.
I mean, Zerg doesn't have any units, so I guess that's fair. I like his SimCity. Seems good.
This is actually a genuine question because I don't know anything about Zerg SimCity. Is that actually good at the third base there?
Yeah, I think it's got the sunks in a good spot. You can drill with the drones to the gas.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then you can drill the drones. If you drill them to the natural from the ramp, then they get in the way of the zealots for the other sunk.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess since it just didn't seem like quite a traditional wall, like 3 buildings.
It's not a wall, it's a SimCity.
It's just a SimCity. Yeah, no, for sure. That makes a lot of sense.
Alright, so Dragoon a little bit low on units in general. He definitely has kept up his probe production though. So, and he's going to go into a DT from here. So, looks like Zerg does have overlords, which is good. And I think George's economy is going to kick in at some point here, and he should be able to pump out a lot of Hydras. As he kind of went... Yeah, I don't know. He's a little heavy on gas. I guess we'll see what happens.
We got 4 zealots coming in here, sneaking a peek at what's going on, but should see these Sunkens and push away. I guess he's just going to try and trade as best as possible, distract George to try and sneak in the DT and the natural, but not going to work out for him. Nothing really doing any damage there.
It looks like he's going to get a Dark Archon. It seems a little early to me as far as like the Muta switch that was possible, but I guess he skipped Corsair, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
So he really has no idea what Zerg is doing. This is one of the, I think, the weaknesses of skipping Corsair against a Hydra build, is that you have no way of checking what Zerg's lair timing is, or just basically what they're doing at all. And that, to me, seems very difficult as a Protoss player. But of course, I don't play PvZ, so who knows?
You never know. You never know.
Alright, looks like Dragoon is going to try and take his third base. I feel like George needs to... This seems like a very brave third base to me. How do you feel?
Yeah,
Do you feel like it's brave?
I feel like it's brave, but at the same time, he's up 40 supply, so it's tough to say. It's in my opinion, I don't take a third base until... I generally don't take a third base until the Zerg starts taking their fourth. So this is definitely on the early side. He's walling off with cannons, so it's going to be... And he's got a Templar up there, so it's going to be pretty tough to break. But he just, with this fast of a 30, needs to trade efficiently.
Right, and George just seems kind of uncomfortable, like, pushing into stuff in general. So... I don't fault him for this like really fast third, because George hasn't been the type of player to punish that kind of response. But he really doesn't have his units in position to be taking this. He has a lot of units at his natural, but he really doesn't have any units at his third. George looks like he's going to go for a Hydra heavy 6-hatch Hydra. push. But when you're on 3 bases like this building Hydras, you really want to deny Protoss their 3rd gas. And it gets to be really difficult if you're not doing that.
Man, I really thought that he was going to be a lot more ahead just from the virtue of forcing the cannons, but I guess not. He is going for Mutalisks. We'll see how this works out for him if he's able to pick off enough Templars to make it worth it. There are quite a few Templars here. There's like 5.
Yeah.
So if he can get all of these, that's going to be a lot of value.
Oh man, he just like stormed all of his own stuff too. That's I guess the one thing about storming to defend mutas is that okay, and now he can just should be able to just fight this push straight up. Looks like Dragoon gonna try and take a hidden 4th base. There is a Zergling down there. So George should be able to scout it. It is on his map vision.
Oh my gosh. Is he going to be able to buff this? Yeah, he should be able to, yeah.
As long as he targets the Nexus. But he's not targeting the Nexus. So, I don't know if this is going to work, actually. I feel like this is not good from Zerg. He's just like...
Even if he had killed the base, you still got a hidden base coming out from Dragoon, and George is still on 3 bases. So like,
yeah, he needs to deny the 3rd. Like, he needed to kill the Nexus there. Because if you're on 3 bases building Hydras, you're just in trouble. Just straight up. If Protoss has a 3rd gas, like, it just becomes an issue. I know that's not like the most eloquent way to put it, but that's what I'm going to say.
No, that's all you can say. There's not a lot of recourse for the Zerg when the Protoss has 3 gases and you're just on 3 base pumping out Hydralisks. And dude, Dragoon just showing no mercy, hiding bases when he's up 6-0 in the series. That's savage. That's absolutely savage.
No mercy, Dragoon. Yeah, George still with no 4th base and floating money again and down supply, so definitely a rough position for a Zerg player. He is on double Evo and he is going 3 base Hive, so I think he's going to try and do some kind of crackling timing. I think that's the play here with this really fast Hive.
Right.
So he's going to try and do some kind of all-in with Hive tech and hope Protoss isn't ready for it.
And, I mean, to be fair, he doesn't have any Archons or Reavers yet, but he's going double Stargate, I guess, to... I don't know.
Counter the Muta switch? Just cuz? Why not? I don't know. Just because he has money. He's got 4 bases. He can do whatever he wants.
But what I was going to say is he's so heavy on Zealots, and obviously he's got good upgrades. So it's going to be, it seems like a crackling timing would be tough. There's so many Hydralisks here, but it's just, I mean, there's so much Protoss as well. We're going to need like the sickest Muta snipes, the sickest Templar snipes, that is, of all time. And just a really good engage otherwise as well.
Yeah, I mean, the problem here wasn't actually the Templar. The problem here is just that George doesn't have enough units.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have enough money. Because he doesn't have enough bases. And I mean, these Templar snipes, like, they may look good, but Protoss is on 4 gas right now. He can buy as many Templar as he wants to buy. Like, it really doesn't matter how many. Like, he can buy infinite Templar with this amount of gas.
Right, for sure. And like you said, even if he doesn't have Templar, he could go pure Zealot Dragoon at this point and still be in a really good spot.
Right. And he even has the bank to support it. Like, Protoss is just rich and big right now. Alright, GG is called from George.
Never got to see the double Stargate. Unfortunately.
The patented double Stargate transition.
Classic. I'm gonna just start going for a double Stargate like 20 minutes into the game, even if they don't mute a switch. Like, you know what? I'm gonna harass the heck out of your overlords right now. Try me.
And then your army will be smaller and you will die.
That was, I don't know why that cracked me up so much, but just the matter of fact way that you said that, you're like, yeah, and then you're not going to have any units, and then you're going to lose the game. I was like, wow.
I'm going to kill you with just Hydras at like 20 minutes again.
Rude. Rude. Uncalled for, to be honest.
All right, our 8th game is going to be Neo Bloody Ridge. Yeah, I mean, that was a rude move, but it was funny, kind of.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good.
Would you like to do the honors?
Yeah, I'll do the honors. In the top right corner, we have our red Zerg player, George. And in the bottom left-hand corner, we have our orange Protoss player, Dragoon, period.
Yeah, the dot.
Dot. Yeah, exactly. It is important. It is.
I thought the funniest thing about that game was that, like, I built all those Hydras, and then we hopped into the next game, and you were like, aren't you supposed to get Defilers?
Yeah. Dude, it pisses me off when I know they're not doing something correctly, and I still lose, and then I'm just like, well, actually...
You were broke.
Actually... Yeah, I know. My 8 gate is not very strong. Like, I feel like my engagement is not as good as it should be.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I definitely feel like I've won games against your 8 gate where I'm like, I probably didn't have enough stuff, but like it worked out anyways somehow.
Right.
Yeah.
What is Dragoon up to? I guess he's just gonna go for a Forge Fast Expand with this early of a probe scout, right?
Yeah, it looks like a pylon scout from Protoss.
I mean, he does see the overpool, so he couldn't. Okay, he's going for a gateway. That's interesting.
Okay.
You don't really see gate first with a pylon scout, but decides to go for it.
All right, and looks like George going to get an early pool, so he should be okay against this. Was it overpool? No, it was 9 pool, wasn't it? Or was it overpool?
It was overpool. It was
overpool. Okay, I'm not watching. I'm sorry. I just flipped to check the Twitch chat, and then I come back, and then I'm like, what is going on?
Wow, checking the Twitch chat while we're streaming. That's.
At least I actually watched the game. I just checked the Twitch chat instead of watching the Twitch chat and not watching the game.
No, it had to be 9. There's what? I don't understand anything. I'm pretty sure it was 9 pool. Because
I think Warp Gates is telling us it was overpool, and I'm pretty sure it was overpool.
But then why is his expansion so late?
Because it got blocked. He's taking the 3rd.
Right.
Are you blind?
We got a question in chat, by the way. What percentage of the time do you think that I am looking at game versus chat?
It depends on the matchup. When it was ZVT, these last couple times when it was ZVT, I think it's like 60-40 for Twitch chat.
Okay, I think that's pretty fair. I was worried you were going to say like 90% Twitch chat, and I'm like, that's a little bit
Today, I feel like it's like 60-40 or 70-30 with the game.
Right. I'm still keeping it real with the Twitch chat, but
I almost never check the Twitch chat. I'm like 90-10 all the time, to be honest. Like, I don't care.
So my question is, what the heck is Dragoon doing with no forge at the front? Does he have a, can we check his name? Yeah, I understand that, but you should have a forge by now, right? He's going gas before forge. Is he going to go?
Not afraid of Lings. He's just not afraid of George. Like, George has played really passively this whole series, and I actually don't think he's going to punish this again. Because, like, he has this one zealot here. He could send 3 Lings. He could send, like, some Lings down to kill the to kill the front, or he could have actually just sent all of the lings down to kill the front. He doesn't have to kill the Zealot. He could have just gone and killed Dragoon with those lings. But Dragoon, at this point in the series, I feel like he knows that George is just not going to do that, because he just hasn't ever done that in the series at all.
Yeah. That's the importance of being able to vary your play style, because obviously, if you can sit back and play defensive, it's a very strong play style. But if they know that you're always going to play defensive and safe, they can just play with extreme greed like this and get away with it.
Right. If your opponent knows that you're not going to punish them, then they can just do whatever they want. So, definitely, like, Dragoon got away with being very greedy there. So I feel like this is good for him.
Yeah, and the cannon should finish with plenty of time. Zergling's obviously really good against buildings, but the cannon's just about finished here. Minimal micro required from Dragoon.
Right, just putting a little bit of damage there on the gateway. And we'll see what George decides to do as his follow-up from Gate Expand. Looks like for the moment he's just droning. My guess here is that he's going to go into 5-hatch no gas. But he's going to have to get a Hydra Den down quite quickly here in order to defend against the Corsair. This is Drone Man.
Drone Man. Do we see a... Never mind.
What are you even looking for?
I was looking for the Stargate because I wasn't paying attention because I was looking at Twitch chat.
This is flipping. I feel like you're definitely at 60-40 right now, and you might be going 60-40 the other way before this is over. Guys, can we keep least engaged in the cast?
The whole second monitor thing really screwed me over because...
Oh, do you have another monitor with Twitch chat on it?
Yes, I do.
Oh my god. I guess that's why. I have one laptop and I only have the screen up. So if I want to check Twitch chat, I have to close the game. Or not close the game, but like minimize the game.
I was on that train for the longest time because I couldn't figure out how to get the second monitor set up. But I finally figured it out. So now I'm like, all right, we're set. But Strom, here's the question. Are you nervous about a possible second consecutive 9-0?
Yes.
Very
Not nervous. I think it's more like resigned. I feel like I'm losing my touch, guys.
This is when you resign as the matchmaker.
I feel like I'm doing a bad job, and I don't know why. Because, like this match I thought was going to be really good. Like, George really, really smacked Age around. I mean, I know Age was a little bit rusty, but, like, it was pretty one-sided. And Dragoon, like, 5-4 Yenta, who's, like, another tier 1 Zerg, and he only won by 1 game, right? And it was a lot of, like, very weird games.
Right.
In that series. And also, like, George, like, Yenta actually messaged me before this cast, and he said he thought that George would win by, like, a large margin. So, I mean, I don't know. George's EVP, like, he's in tier 1 because he doesn't practice his EVT and his EVZ as much, as far as I know. But he's like, Jayun trained ZVP player. So, like, it seemed like it was going to be a good match. I wasn't worried about this one at all, to be honest. Like, I thought we might get a 6-3 either way, but, like, I wasn't worried about it being really one-sided, to be honest.
Oh, we've got so many units coming out here. And Dragoon responding, of course, throwing down a bunch of cannons. And as we saw the last game, like, he can afford to throw down 3, maybe even 4 more cannons and still be okay in the late game if he can win a game that he threw down 5 cannons for free.
Right. And George just, like, being slow with his units again. Like, if he had really, like, come across quickly with these Hydras, he could have killed him here, I think. He had, like, 4 Zealots and 2 cannons that were done. But he was slow with his Hydras. He got them stuck halfway across the map, and he wasn't very aggressive when he moved them across the map. So I feel like that just becomes, I mean, it was like a potential bust opportunity that didn't come to fruition just because he was a little bit slow with his units.
Yeah, now that the Reaver's out, it's going to be super difficult to make any kind of bust attempt happen.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, just bleeding length into the cannons. Huh?
Do you think these faster robos were like specifically so that he doesn't die to any kind of Hydra aggression?
It might be. I know that like Keena's told me before that he can kill him with like 5-hatch Hydra bust fairly often. So it makes me wonder about that. Like maybe that having the Reaver that quickly kind of helps you defend against that push.
Right.
If you can't get your storm out in time. I don't know. How do you feel about that bust? I feel like you don't feel very good about that bust.
About the 5-hatch Hydra bust? Yeah, definitely. It's just such a tight timing to make sure you get your cannons and your storm and your Templars and you keep your Zealots alive and you keep your Corsairs alive. Like, it's... And I feel like if you screw up one of those things, with the exception of maybe you can lose your Corsairs, you're just in a really tough spot holding.
Right. And you need to get good storms too. Like sometimes it's not enough to just have storm if they keep building Hydras. Like if you don't execute your storm correctly, then you can still just lose.
Yeah, and we saw that with Ashen versus Bojack in the coaching stream.
Right.
We actually saw Keen tell him, hey, he's only got 2 storms left. If he can't execute, like, just keep pressuring him. And if he can't execute these storms perfectly, he's going to lose the game.
Right. Because he told him to start droning, and then he was like, actually, you can win if you just build Hydras. For the record, George staying on 3 bases again. I don't know that I like this decision from him. I feel like he needs a 4th base. Unless he's planning on doing some kind of 3-base timing. Like, I feel like he's obsessing over the shuttle a little bit too much.
Yeah.
When Protoss is just planning on expanding behind this. Kind of like a fun fact about this map. As Zerg, you might think that you want to take that, like, 12 o'clock location as your 4th base. I actually prefer taking one of the corner bases. Because if you take that 12 location, Protoss can kind of move their 2-0 push back and forth between your 3rd and your 4th, which is in front of your natural. And it's like basically impossible to ever get your units out for a surround, which is basically what Zerg needs when they fight Protoss army. All right. George kind of hemorrhaging some units here to Zealot Reaver, but did manage to take out 1 Reaver. I'm not sure that it was completely worth it, but Protoss still on 2 bases for now.
You know, the only thing I could think about during that fight was how bad it feels when a Scarab only kills 1 Hydralisk. Like, you make these 200, 100 units, and then you pay 25 minerals to build ammunition for it. 15 minerals, whatever, close enough. You pay money to get ammunition for it, and then it kills 1 Hydralisk, and then you're like, oh, I guess that's how it went. It's all right though. Dragoon still in a good spot. He's securing his 3rd base, and George looks like he's not making a move to secure his 4th. So this could just end up being a similar situation to what we've seen in the rest of this series, where Dragoon just kind of ends up getting too strong of a 3-base economy and rolling over George.
Yeah. I mean, you as a Zerg player, if you're not taking a 4th base, you're under pressure to do damage. Like, either they need to run their 2-0 push into you and lose it, or you need to make sure that their 3rd base doesn't come up. That's my opinion anyways. I was going to say something about taking one of the corner bases instead of I think I said that. But the reason being was, the 2-0 push. And the other thing is, like, if you have hatcheries in another location, you can get around. I don't know that this is good. This seems really bad, actually.
Yeah, a lot of free cannon shots, and I mean,
no
the
damage.
Scourge scaring away the Corsairs, but not really hitting anything. And 4 cannons just going to melt this Mutalisk force.
Right, and George is in the position where his opponent has doubled his army supply again, and he still doesn't have a 4th base. So,
4th base
like
going down.
I think a 4th base behind this.
Absolutely brutal.
All right, I'm not really sure what his plan is here. He is floating a lot of money, George is. So maybe he doesn't have enough hatcheries on 3 bases. Looks like he's going to take bottom right as his 4th. But we'll see if he's able to hold this with this Protoss army out on the map. Right now, he's very low on supply. And he's just kind of bleeding units out as well.
And he doesn't really have a strong lurker force. Like, you've said it before, the way you survive when you're in these really low supply situations is just have a lot of lurkers and get some good defensive engages. But he just has Hydras right now. Hydra lane.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, he went for mutas, but the thing is like, I don't know. I feel like you need a lot of Hydras to go Hydra muta. Like, and he kind of has like, he'll have like the 11 mutas, but he doesn't have the Hydras to punish it. Like, if you're just sniping the Templar, it doesn't matter. The idea is that either they're on 2 base and you're killing all their gas units, or you snipe their Templar and then you run in with all the Hydras and kill their army because they don't have any storm.
Right.
So it's kind of like, I don't know. I feel like it's just maybe a little bit of misplay by George with the mutas. I'm actually surprised that we've seen him go so many mutas. I felt like he was going to play very lurker turtley style, and that's not really been how he's playing at all. I don't know how you feel about that.
I definitely have seen George mix it up with mutas before, but I'm kind of with you. He feels like he has made it like his mainstay.
Yeah, I feel like he's like a 5 muta opener kind of guy, not a muta switch guy, or at least that's what I thought he was like. I'm trying to think of like when I've seen him play games though. Like, I think I saw him play games against Ashen when Ashen was playing for his best of 9. But have you played him a lot?
I used to play him a lot back when we were more similar skill levels.
Right.
And back then, like, he would mix up builds, but like you said, he's definitely more of a 5 muta build kind of guy. I didn't remember him doing a lot of muta switches, and these storms just absolutely savage. Oh my gosh, it takes out so much of that Zerg army.
Right, and okay, GG is called by George. You saw there was also like kind of a mistake there. He had like half his Hydras not fighting at the end. With the fight, so it allowed the Protoss army to pick off like 3 or 4 lurkers. So like it just is, again, like with Zerg, it's so important that all of your units are fighting at the same time, because you can really be punished by either of the other 2 races if you're not, just because Zerg units are squishy, but they can do more damage, especially Hydralisks.
Yeah, whenever you have the weaker army, which I think it's definitely fair to say, Zerg tends to have the weaker army. You have to make up for it by using your mobility, first of all, to take a lot of expansions, but also when you decide to fight head on, you need to have your full force there. Otherwise,
right.
You're just going to get rolled. It's so much easier to defeat one half of an army and then 10 seconds later defeat the other half of an army than it is to, all right, we're going to get into Overwatch.
Do you think we can tag team this one? In the top left, we have our Protoss player, Dragoon, in the orange. Currently up 8-0 in the series.
And in the bottom right, we have our red Zerg player looking to get some pride. We got George.
All right. That was good.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the first time we've done that without talking over each other for a long time.
I mean, to be fair, I pretty much had you do the intros for a while now. But yeah, back at the beginning when we didn't know what we were doing at all, constantly talking over each other.
Implying that we know what we're doing now, okay? Just saying.
I feel like our problems now stem from like lack of game knowledge more than
talking over each other.
Talking over each other. Yeah.
I'm trying, okay.
All right. George in classic George fashion. Looks like he's going to play it out in a standard-ish style for the final game.
5 pool is basically what we see inside this. This is a lot of a many words way to say no 5 pool.
Dragoon, on the other hand, is going to go 1 base. We'll see if he's practicing his Protoss versus random Zerg, or if he's going to go for 2 gate again.
Yeah, that seems rough. If you like play Protoss and play ladder, looks like it's going to be a 2 gate again.
It's really only rough versus random because it's like there's no way. It's what I imagine ZVZ feels like, except ZVZ neither side is favored because they're both Zergs. You know?
Yeah, I guess.
You're just in such a bad spot if you go 1 base tech against Zerg.
I mean, it depends. You can still do really good 1 base tech builds, in my opinion.
In your opinion? No, just playing.
Wow. Wow. As if it's not enough to have set up 2 one-sided series in a row, now Leaf is punishing me on stream. Guys, help. Please.
I'm sorry. I take it back.
Can you please DM Least and call him out for disrespect?
The worst. The actual worst. And just to make things even worse, he's going for the gas steal. What? And he's doing it again!
I'm not really sure. He just like doesn't want Zerg to have a link speed. Like, I don't really know what the play is here.
It's not objectively good, but I think at this point he's just trying to
objectively good.
He's just trying to tilt George into oblivion.
I mean, that's fair. As if he probably already is, kind of. But, you know.
Dark matter with the calling game 9 the triggering. Could not agree more. Could not agree.
Least with the watching Twitch chat instead of the game.
Bruh.
And I get a least of trash in the chat. I saw a Foxbat post when I looked at the chat at the break that we haven't heard Strom call Least trash in 2020. Well, just in case anyone was curious, Least is absolute trash. Garbage. I don't even know why I have him here. Really, I should replace him. If you guys have any ideas for replacement casters, I am open to suggestions. Warpgates I'm keeping. I think he does a really good job, but Least absolute garbage.
Just to be clear, though, can we still do it on my channel, even if I don't cast?
You just need the fame.
That's what's important to me. The Twitch Prime subs, the sweet $3 every time someone redeems that Twitch Prime.
Oh my god. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I don't want to hear anybody talking to me about how Zerg is broken ever again, for the record. I don't want to hear it. Zerg has a terrible win rate in CPL.
Zerg is hard. Zerg is hard. I complain.
Fragile.
I complain a lot about Zerg as a Protoss player, but
can we talk about? Yeah. Can we talk about what a God Dragoon is, though? Finding these lings,
oh my
like
God.
map hacks.
He's clearly
He knows.
Clearly stream cheating. That's the only way
Yeah.
he's been able to outclass him.
Man. Yeah, I mean, I think that the plan here was to run the Lynx behind when he moved out with the Zealots, but Dragoon somehow just like knew that they were there and was able to stop that. Is going to go ahead and turn around. I think that Zerg is overinvested in defense again a little bit because he has a lot of Zerglings. And if he's not planning on going in for a Ling all in here, then he's wrong because he has too many Lings not to do that.
It feels like he's got to be going for a Ling all. Like, he was hiding them, it seemed like, in the main. Otherwise, you would just keep them in the nat, yeah.
Right. Okay. This might work, actually.
Fingers crossed. Here we go. Can he do it?
This wall is really ugly.
This is the ugliest wall of all time, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, there's absolutely no points where Zerglings can't get in.
Oh, man, but they just glitch out, and he's losing all of them. But I mean, he's got more.
This is exactly what you said, though. If he had just attacked with all these at the same time, he would have been in such a better position right now. We've got Zealots coming back. They're just so painfully slow. Zerglings, I feel like, could actually take out everything before these Zealots get back.
Alright, is going to manage to pick off the Zealot on the ramp, and now there's Lynx in the main. Dragoon is going to go ahead and put down a cannon, but the Zerglings are going to find it and cancel it almost immediately. And George is just rallying Lynx down back now. And even though the Zealots that were on the map have arrived, Speedlings are fast. And he's not fighting with them all together, so I feel like our Protoss player is in trouble. And I don't know that he's going to be able to take the 9-0 here today.
What a legend move. With the 9-0 on the line, he said, just build Lings. Build Lings.
Was he wrong, though? I guess we'll see. He's got his ramp blocked, and Zealots are pretty good. And he does have a lot of production with 2-gate. So, like, Zerg can definitely still lose this. And he's actually now taking fights that he can't win. So this is like, I think this is Protoss favored now, actually, just with that engagement. Yeah,
oh
GG.
my gosh, GG is called.
I spoke too soon, guys.
Somebody
GG
hold me. Somebody hold me. 2 9-0s in a row. Unfortunate.
The garbage can hold you. I mean, it's my fault because I'm making the matches, but still,
at least it's trash. We know.
All right. Hopefully we can get Dragoon on the call here, and hopefully somebody other than me can tell him to come because I don't have my keyboard plugged in.
No worries, I got you.
All right. We're just waiting for Dragoon to get in the call here. Just while we're waiting, guys, for the rest of this week, we do have a masterclass on Protoss with models tomorrow at 2 p.m. EDT. So be sure to tune in for that. We also have another Apocalypse match on Thursday, and it is also at 2 p.m. EDT. Hopefully, we will not get a 9-0 on that match. I know you guys probably don't trust me anymore, and neither do I. So it's okay. But anyways, we do have Dragoon on the call here. So, hey man, great games. Awesome showing. Commanding 9-0. How are you feeling?
Pretty good.
Yeah? Are you sure? 9-0, and he says he's feeling pretty good.
He did say it was going to be easy when you asked him the very leading question in the pre-interview. Well, technically, you said it was going to be pretty easy, and he said your words, not mine.
So, are they your words now?
Yeah, I mean, there was a few games there, like that early Hydra bust on Sylphin. I was a little concerned about the rest of that game, how it was going to pan. I was able to manage to get about 2 or 3 High Templar alive when he was trying to push in through my main and get some of those Hydras back. I think I just had, lucky timing pushing out against his army once he started droning up again.
Right. I mean, you showed a variety of strategies overall. I felt like you played the maps really well. I felt like you played the player very well. Did you plan strategies specifically for maps, or were you reacting in game from what George was doing?
So last night, Keenan, I'm Jiraiya, I believe.
Yeah, that's how you pronounce it, Drya.
I mean, we played an extensive 5 or so hours, just them back and forth, hammering away at me. And we played all of the maps. So that definitely helped just to kind of prep for today. And then I did have a lot of strats I wanted to lead with in maps. For instance, the games that I gateway opened with, for the most part, I had planned to like do that due to the rush distance or all that other stuff, and then just playing the map that way. And I did know George was very defensive Zerg player. So like on clay fields, I just don't care to kind of bust, so I just recall.
Right. The other thing I wanted to ask you about was like, what did you? Because both of you guys played a best of 9, and both of your guys' best of 9 was ZVP. So I'm assuming you watched George's best of 9, and I'm wondering, like, what did you take away from those games that he played against Age?
So I mean, I did the whole defensive play style. I kind of saw that, but I knew the games against Age were probably not a realistic showing of what George would typically do, just because. I mean, same goes to say with the games I had against Yenta. We probably adapted to how they opened, since Yenta played very cheesy, so to say. I mean, he just played
aggressively. Yeah.
And same with Age. I feel like he played also very aggressively in his build. So there was a bit of that I could use, but for the most part, I just figured George was very, passive, defensive, just macroed up and did that very well. There were a lot of games, probably 3 games, where I literally had no High Templar, and that was a little frustrating. But I mean, I still was just able to out macro on just Gateway, and I'm like on clay fields, for instance, when I was pushing the first push, I was pushing out and he sniped all my High Templar. I was expecting him to clean up my army and then go to one of my bases, but he played defensively and didn't take advantage of that, and that just let me just remake High Templar again. And
Right. And at that point, you were always taking your third at a very good timing, so you had enough gas to keep producing High Templar. So as long as he didn't punish you right when he sniped them, you seemed to be able to remake them really in good time.
Yeah.
The other thing though is that if I recall correctly, George's best of 9, the 2 games that he dropped to Age were both gate expand. So I can't remember if we saw you gate expand Yenta very many times. I felt like it was mostly Forge Fast expand. And I'm curious if you mixed in gate expand more because you've been practicing it, or because you saw that he was weak to it in that series.
I've just been practicing it mainly since like for instance right now on ladder I 2 gate every ZVP just because, or PVZ, just because it puts me in a more aggressive mindset, because my play style honestly mimicked, prior to this best of 9, mimicked George's very similarly, where I would just macro and sit behind and then let Zerg take the map. That's how I used to play, and that's how you saw me play in the masterclass and those concerns I brought up there. So ever since then I've just been trying to throw in 2 gate, 1 gate here and there, and that's just kind of the outcome of that. It wasn't necessarily because I noticed George was weak to gate expand.
Right. I definitely feel like from the beginning of the season, your PVZ has improved like a ton, because we did see you in that series versus Yenta, you dropped 4 games, and then in the masterclass when you played that game against Keen, like you were saying, you played very differently today than you played in any of those games. So definitely kudos to you. I feel like you've brought your PVZ a long way. Do you want to like maybe give a little bit of insight on how you've worked on that? Like what your process has been on that matchup this season?
I mean, since the beginning, like you said, it's just been really, I mean, that's probably the matchup I've played the most. So the reason why it probably looks very different from the beginning is because that's the one that I put 80% of my time into. Like if you asked me to play versus Terran or Protoss right now, I'm sure it would look very, very bad and different. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of just the outcome of the work and effort and hours going into that, as well as practicing against Keen and various other people, and again using CPL and the coaches channel, and granted we're assistant coaches, but we're still asking for help. Like it doesn't stop. So just all of those things combined, kind of showing, being able to show the effort that was displayed today.
Right. And you played very well today. Definitely big congratulations to you. Do you want to just take a minute to go ahead and shout out your practice partners? I know you said you were playing for 5 hours yesterday, and I'm sure you practiced across the season. So maybe just give out a little shout out to your practice partners.
Yeah, I mean, we played with Keen and I'm gonna, Jira.
Jiraiya.
Yeah, Jiraiya. That was yesterday. I mean, that was like a 5-hour session, so it was a pretty extensive session. Striker joined in, and Baker. Just across the board, many different players. And I mean, the Samyang Discord is very active all the time, so it's not ever hard to find a matchup. I feel like, it's definitely. I feel like it's definitely a good team to be in right now.
Right. And just to conclude this, you have been an assistant coach this season, and I know you're in CPL last season as well. How has your experience been as an assistant coach?
I'm still enjoying it. I know that you probably asked me this the last time, and my answer to you isn't going to waver too much. I'm still learning how to be a better coach and how to better provide, that kind of transfer of knowledge to the players. It's just, an ongoing process, day in, day out type of deal.
Right. Well, I definitely feel like you showed great games today, great improvement across the season. So congratulations due all around. I hope that you have gained some new fans through this cast. So GG's, man.
Thank you very much.
Congrats, Dragoon.
Thank you. All right, bye.
All right. Well, that's going to be just about it for us here, folks. Appreciate you guys. Remember, we do have a Apocalypse show match on Thursday. What time is that going to be at, Strom?
It's going to be at 2 p.m. EDT, and it is another PVZ. So hopefully Lise will be watching the game and not the Twitch chat. So we should have a good time, hopefully, in that match.
Fingers crossed. But appreciate you guys all tuning in, as always. Thank you so much. You are the reason why we do this, and we will see you next time. Make sure you tune in to the match of the week on Thursday as well.
And the masterclass tomorrow.
And my personal.